2. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Xbox Nation. It is Wednesday night, the best goddamn podcast on Wednesday night, bar none. That'll make a lot more sense to you guys in like a couple weeks' time. Trust me. Yes. But anyway, there is absolutely a ton of stuff to talk about. A lot of breaking stuff with the Xbox One X. Of course, you guys want to all know about that, and a little bit more of our collective thoughts on that amazing Gamescom, right? I mean, that thing was just amazing all the way through. Shannon Loftus, what a treasure she is to Xbox, right? I mean, yes, and we got to see more controllers. I'm thrilled. Like, when I was thinking Gamescom megatons, I was definitely thinking controllers. And to top it off, I got my all-time wish. We're getting Disney Pixar Rush without the Kinect and Disneyland Adventures. Woo, man, like, honestly, it doesn't get any better than that. I am completely stoked about all this stuff.
Zoo Tycoon, right?
Yeah, Zoo Tycoon remastered, folks. Zoo Tycoon remastered. Great. So it's going to be like a phenomenal discussion. I can tell you right now, we've got a lot of great stuff.
I know what I'm doing November 7th at midnight.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah, I'm with you, dude.
Zoo Tycoon, that's the first game I'm booting up.
It's some co-op. That's what I'm telling you right now, man. When they're remastering launch Xbox One games, yeah, it's going to be a good show, folks. Let me start off by introducing the man, the myth, the legend, the person not doing Crossfire this week, so you guys enjoy him while he's here. Mooch.
What's up, buddy? Listen, normally you send out that list of exhausting topics, but let me tell you, there's so much late-breaking stuff to go over, a lot of stuff that happened between late last night into today and into almost an hour ago that I want to talk about. I don't even think you have it on the topics list. If anyone's in for a Mooch rant on bias media, go ahead and make your popcorn now. It's coming later in the show.
Yeah, exactly. And we got Dealer straight out of the gym, man. He's dragging ass, but he's here. What's up, bro?
Do you like this sound? That's the sound of life coming back to me through Red Bull. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the show. Real tired, but I'm gonna manage. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And special shout out to Lethal Papa. He's always supporting everybody. He just gave me a code for Sonic Mania to give away on Twitter. So you gotta show your appreciation for that guy. Thanks again, man.
Nice. Yes.
That guy battles in the comment section during the live chats all the time. Yep. I'm never sure who he's arguing with, but you just see him go back and forth with somebody. And I'm just like, man, who's he talking to? I'm looking to block somebody, and I never can tell who he's talking to. So it's always funny as hell when I see that. We got Hellhammer. What's up, dude?
Not much. I'm pretty tired too, but read through this list of topics because I just woke up like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, you managed to beat Final Fantasy 15, so I'm surprised by that. I'm like, damn. I didn't think that you would actually get through that. Yeah. Again, it's something that I'll probably go back to once the One X is out. It's on my to-do list.
Play it again.
Yeah, I'll put it next to the other.
We can just file that text to all the other games you haven't finished yet.
Yeah, I'll get to them eventually. I finished a lot. I finished Mass Effect. Hey, I mean, come on. You can't say that I didn't finish
almost a year later.
A year later? That game came out in March. Come on. Get with the times, Hellhammer. We also got No Chills Noof back again. What's up, No Chills?
Yo, man, it's always a pleasure to be here on Xbox Nation. It's the place to be on a Wednesday night, and it's always fun with you people. And shout out to everybody that's come out following us in the chat, people that watch the podcast later on. You are the shit, the lovers, the haters, and the masturbators. We got room for you all. Let's rock and roll.
Somebody just asked, am I actually going to play Disney Rush or not? You know what? I have it on Kinect on the Xbox 360. Maybe. Who the hell knows? Probably. Yes, I love Disney games, so probably. And we also joining us again this week, the Beeve.
The What's up, man? Happy to be back. Just drinking some Tim Hortons coffee here.
Canadian or Michigander, because they have those in Michigan too.
Yeah, I know. No, pure Canadian.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah,
thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Thank you.
This Mooch rant here.
Absolutely.
Oh man, you can tell Mooch is keyed up because I saw him arguing about different things.
Yeah, Tom Warren will now be known as Terrible Tom.
Okay.
Oh,
terrible Tom, because he only tweets out negative things. You never see him say anything positive ever. He just started weeks ago about something where he didn't know that he can get updates while his console was on instant on, and he had a problem with some. He basically went down the same path of finding the settings button, and he's a tech guy. So
he's mad because he signed up for something he didn't know how it worked.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he was the same guy who was like, if Microsoft priced the Xbox One X at $499, that means they want out of the gaming industry, right?
Yeah.
So like,
meanwhile, they can't keep them.
So what you're basically telling me is he's a fucking idiot.
Yes, he's a complete idiot, and
he's another one of those asshats that Joy did with all those other
Just
people.
be negative all the fucking time.
Listen, he's not alone. I mean, it happened from Sunday till today. It was just nonstop media bashing. You know, I mean, shout out to K Mega. K Mega had a great title for one of his videos where he said, "Being biased isn't being objective." You know, just coming out and being negative on something, it doesn't mean that that's just your opinion. I got news for you. The whole thing is a mess in the media, and it's time that everybody – I'm so happy to see everybody on Twitter going out there and fighting back. It's so nice to see an actual group of people that are – you have to understand, the reason Crapgamer exists, the reason I exist, Dealer, everybody – I will speak for everybody. We're actually here – and we started voicing our opinions because of the way the media took their slant in 2013, and it's gotten so ridiculous with the goalposts moving. It's gotten so ridiculous with the nonsense. And then the minute you critique or question their headline, they come right back with you with, I don't need to deal with this fanboy. You're the fanboy, sir. Okay? You are. Oh, we are. All right, these guys. Yeah. If you don't use the proper terminology, they'll turn another term against you. They are the problem out there, and they make it look like we are. All we do is combating the ridiculous headlines and clickbait that they put out on a daily basis.
Yes, goddamn those clickbaiters. I hate all of them.
They went to the crap gamer school for clickbaiting, bro.
Yeah. But you know what? I do want to say this, that there is actually some interesting news about the Xbox One X, which is if you look at Amazon, and I think Rand did a video about this, and I saved it for this, obviously, but the Xbox One X Scorpio Edition is the number 66 best-selling, if it were to sell what the pre-orders are, of 2017 so far, and the PS4 Pro would be the 90th best-selling thing in 2017 so far. So those that thought that the Xbox One Scorpio or Xbox One X would be poorly received are in for a bit of a shock today. And I think that the Sony fans in general are feeling a bit shell-shocked by all of the positivity regarding the Xbox One X. You know, it's been phenomenal to see that love from the fans again. Like, I get so many messages now. Everybody's excited. Everybody's happy. Well, except for like the PC and the Sony dudes. But the Xbox dudes, their level of happiness, if I was doing pie charts like Z Huge, would be off the charts, right? Like, look, here's the level of happiness for Xbox dudes way up here, and then here's the PS4 Pro dudes down here, and the PC dudes there. I don't know, they're always in the muck somewhere.
What's crazy though, crap, is if it wouldn't have sold out on Amazon in what, 20-something minutes, right?
25 minutes.
Then it would be easily in the top 10.
Yep. If they would have, here's the thing, so that you guys don't know, I'm going to throw some fantastic bit of information at you guys. Microsoft made, well, they thought they made enough of the Scorpio Edition Xbox One X's to last a full week, right? Wow. They're like, yeah, we probably got enough for a week of these, okay? They ended up selling out on Amazon in 25 minutes and pretty much everywhere else. In fact, 5 minutes in Germany. Thank you, King Chris, for pointing that out. So the importance of that selling so well in Germany is the fact that it's a place where the Xbox doesn't typically do well. So you're looking at some saturation chances and potential for the Xbox One X to really take a chunk of Sony's dominance. You know, not only just America, because I think that's a given, but I'm talking about worldwide, people. Do you guys understand that? Like, that is something phenomenal. People never thought any of this stuff would happen, and to see. Yeah, go ahead.
Everybody wrote it off, just like the Elite controller, right? Everybody thought that was insane. They're like $150 for a controller, right? Like, I mean, when you sit back and think about that, that's insane sounding, right? Just as an average consumer who's not like a hardcore gamer or whatever, but yet they sold out of those super quick. $500 for something that does what this thing can do, I mean, puts it in a bargain. I mean, there's nothing you can, there's no other system out there that's going to match what this can do, at least, you know, fidelity-wise, as far as on the same level. It's even close to the same price as far as being as cheap.
Well, this is gonna set a new industry standard here. We're seeing that Microsoft now knows, and Sony now knows as well. And nothing really comes to fruition here, guys. Let's just say we are dealing with pre-orders. Everyone that showed you a receipt at GameStop actually put money down. So those are the people. A lot of people just go on Amazon. You can just click. But nonetheless, if these numbers come true, we're seeing that people will pay for power. Okay, and we already knew this kind of, but people were kind of beating around the bush when in 2013. They were saying that Microsoft, nobody wanted to connect this and that. If the Xbox One was the same power as the PS4, we wouldn't be in the predicament we are now, even with the $100 over price tag, because you were getting more merchandise in the box. The problem was they were like, wait a minute, I don't want the Kinect and it's a weaker box? I'm out, you know? But now Microsoft's like, all right, let's get rid of unnecessary hardware and let's just give them straight up power. And you will not see them fall flat to Sony ever again. As a matter of fact, I hope they keep a bit of a leg up even going into the next gen. That's how you will get the casuals. The casuals care about looks. Looks is everything. And I hate to say that. You know, there's a lot of people that follow us on Twitter. There's a lot of people that join us in the podcast. And they're just like, well, come on, man. It's about the games. Isn't it about the games at the end of the day? When you sit down, it's you and your game. You're gaming you. It's like, you know, listen, I got news for all you people. Enough. Okay? We've all been playing games since the 80s. Yes, the games are always going to come. A game that you like is going to eventually hit home for you. But in order to capture the casuals, Call of Duty's not breathtaking, okay? It's not breathtaking. But you know what it is? They want a game that looks the best, it looks better than the other platform, and that's where they're going to sink their money into. It's just the way it is. It's the same example I give all the time. You walk into a pizzeria that has 25 pizzas on display by the slice. You can't tell me. Look at the goddamn garlic, anchovy, and artichoke slice. It's a disgusting taste. But these guys in New York City know how to make it look good. And I guarantee you, for $3.50, you're going to buy a slice. You're going to sit down and go, this tastes like shit, but it looked amazing. And that's the casual market, folks. They buy what they can see. And
exactly.
That's Microsoft learned that now.
Hey, man, first couple of years on the Xbox, we had plenty of games. And when we were preaching about the games, all we heard was, oh, your system is only 900p. That game looks like shit. I can't see the dimples in that guy's ass cheeks. Come on, you know.
And with the rumors of a new PlayStation, I don't know whether it's PlayStation 5 or not. Like, if they announce that within the next year, that I guarantee that's going to piss off a hardcore fan base for Sony. Like,
you're going to get those. They won't announce it.
Yeah,
You don't think so?
You know what?
The fact that the Pro even came out is the reason the X is doing so well. People are underwhelmed like a motherfucker because of the Pro. I am. I know Crap probably is. I know Mooch probably is. Like, we all just see slightly sharper images at higher resolutions, whatever. But now you're finally getting some fucking PC settings on the console. This is what you wanted in 2013, and that's the reason to be excited.
Don't you see them being cocky enough to try and push that, though?
No, because it'll just kill sales until it comes out, you know?
Listen, if you listen to what Mikey Barr and these guys are saying about the Xbox One X, right? They're saying, you know what? We started this thing a long time ago. We were working on this thing for years and years. And and the fact that it's come to fruition now, I think, is a huge thing. Microsoft has done a good job of planning this thing out. We heard Phil say back in the day, we don't want a half step, like, you know what I mean? And so we saw what Sony did, which was a true half step. The Pro is a half step in every terms of the meaning.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? When you just look at it, you're not getting any more memory for gaming or for developers. There's no extra memory in general. I guess they got, what, 1 extra gig or something, I would say. Isn't it, like, for something else? Not for gaming, though. You know, it is like it has the HDR stuff, but they didn't really do anything to improve it the way that Microsoft went about improving the Xbox One X. And I think that's showing. When you look at where the hype is, the Pro, I forget how many it had announced at launch that were Pro enhanced, 40. But it wasn't 40, okay? And the Xbox One X is at 118 right now, which is more than the Pro has.
There will be probably over 140 at launch in 2 months from now, probably.
Yeah. Everything that Microsoft has done has been fantastic. Just look at the backwards compatibility thing. People were like, oh, Microsoft will forget all about that. They won't keep up with it. Nobody cares about
Sony owns the Margaret, so they'll never go for the X's. Install.
Yeah.
All you frauds that said that for the better part of a year, smack yourself in the face.
Well, I mean, the people who still doubt the power or whatever, right? Like, take a look back, read the articles from when the Pro released, right? When people contacted CG Project Red, and they were like, "Is there gonna be a patch for the Pro?" And they're basically like, "No, it's basically kind of beat around the bush, but yeah, it's not powerful enough to meet what we want. So there's no sense in making a patch for the Pro." Then now all of a sudden, the One X gets this day one for the Witcher 3.
Well, the thing is, they made it difficult to update for the Pro, right? So Microsoft were really smart in the fact that they made it so easy to develop for. Developers are really having an easy time with it, and that is something they took back from PlayStation. Because when you look at the original Xbox One development with that ESRAM and all that nonsense, remember how we were damage controlling? Well, I was. That stuff, like, hey, man, they can do child resources and all this kind of stuff, and that DX12 sure is swell. So we were talking about that stuff.
Hey, I still remember the title of one of your videos. Your XX12 is real, and Fable Legends is running it.
And I still have that video up somewhere. But hey, that is 100%. That was 100% accurate.
Don't you guys question these developers a little bit? Now that we're playing Monday morning quarterback and we can actually see what's going on, now that we see the 3-year transition, now everybody's like, oh my God, you ever see these? It's the same people. Hey, I just love that X. That Xbox One X, so easy, so goddamn easy. It's a little bit stronger than the Pro. Everything's flip-flop, right? So everything is now on our side, and that's fine. But hear me out, guys. When you call a plumber, okay, plumber comes to your house and you got a clog in your sink, and they just, sometimes the plumber just pulls out the snake. He's got the snake tool. He goes down, unclogs his sink. He's in and out of the house in about maybe 15, 20 minutes. Still got to pay the guy $115 for the house call. Sometimes the snake doesn't do it. What's he got to do? He's got to take the whole sink apart. He's got to get down there. He's got to get into the drain. Sometimes he's got to replace a pipe. Maybe it's a fitting. Maybe it's a seal. Guy's got to stay there for 2 hours. Just because it's not the least common denominator, and it's not just using the snake tool and getting in and out, does that mean the plumber goes, dude, you got a real fucking clog here. I'm out. No, but these developers would not work on the Xbox One because it was a little bit more work. What about the 30 million people that would have bought the game possibly? How about all these people that didn't want to develop a game because it was a little bit more? Let's be honest. You can't sit here and tell me to develop for the Xbox One versus the PS4. It was day and night, another 12 months of work. It wasn't that hard. These guys are fair weather fans. That's why when I see all these articles coming out about the devs, I'm not coming around. Like, you guys are all like, hey, look at these devs on our team. No, they're not. No, they're not.
You know what, Crap?
Because the minute
I'm not coming around.
I'm not coming around because the minute the PS5 comes out and it's got one more fucking iota of juice more than the X, they're going to start flipping over to the other side. They're immediately going to flip over. Be like, oh, that PS5. So easy. Can't wait to get over there. Come on.
At the beginning of the generation, they didn't have the SDKs where they're at now. So, for instance, if you wanted to use ESRAM, you had to go in there and actually know what the fuck you were doing to use it. Yeah. Now they've got automatic software that will do that for developers, little things like that, right? But I think the ultimate weapon for the Xbox One X, that's why we've seen higher quality patches. You're getting patches with more features in literally a quarter of the time.
Absolutely.
An Xbox One X dev kit is an Xbox One dev kit. It is an Xbox One S dev kit. Boom, 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 push buttons, you're done.
Right.
That's why you're more likely to get support on every single game coming out after any studio gets an X1X dev kit. They've got the dev kit they need to do it, and it's so simple. They can do it all in one place.
And Dealer,
Pro doesn't have that. That's one
right.
of Pro's biggest weaknesses.
And Dealer, I'm glad you bring that up because what you just said puts major egg on the face of the Call of Duty developers and Bungie if they don't make their games 4K, and I think they're gonna, okay? They're gonna. But that puts added stress. When you have all these other smaller developers saying that they can do this so quickly now with the SDKs and having the Xbox One X dev kits, and it's become so much easier. We don't want to hear it from Bungie. We don't want to hear it from, I can't remember who's making this one. I don't know if it's Treyarch or who it is, but whoever's making it, I don't want to hear it from them.
Sledgehammer.
You'll get patches for sure, like you said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it does, but don't get me wrong though, Dealer, your point is actually very important because then when somebody claims that they can't or they don't want to, we know there's something going on that's red tape behind the scenes with Sony.
Microsoft idiot-proofed it. You know, right. In the developer world, this is idiot-proofed porting to this thing, and it's more convenient and better than it's ever been. So there's no excuse.
Yeah, there's absolutely no excuse. And what we're going to see is so many more games developed for the Xbox One X. Look, if you look at what PlayStation is doing with the PS4 Pro, it's like that cousin that, that weird cousin. They don't even, seem to care that it's there. You know, they announced this. They're like, we've got this new thing we're gonna announce, and people were like, is it the PS4 Pro? Is it the PS5? No, it's an ugly PS4 Slim. It's not even a Pro. It's a Slim for Gran Turismo Sport. So yeah, I mean, look. Sony, I don't know what the hell they're doing. They're living off the past. Microsoft is pushing the future. You know, when the train's coming, you get off the fucking tracks, and Sony's going to learn that pretty quick.
It's really weird they're not pushing the Pro, though. Like
they're
you
not.
mentioned.
They're not.
That Gran Turismo bundle should have been with the Pro. I don't understand what they're doing.
Sense.
Or at least do one of each, one in a Slim and one
I mean,
in a
I understand
Pro.
that the Pro is just offering, like, basically in Gran Turismo, it's just offering 1800p, but, you know, why aren't they doing things differently? Why? I guess they don't have any PC versions of their games, so they can't just scale up settings to like ultra settings and port it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Port the PC assets. So maybe they'd have to actually go in and develop custom graphics features for a more powerful PlayStation instead of just ripping them from the PC. You know.
They're used to taking their car models and stuff from the PS2, so that could be causing them issues too.
Well, they said each one took them 6 months this time, so I don't.
I'm sure it takes
6 months to build one car model.
Yeah, that's what they said.
That's because they're gearing up for the 8K PS7 or whatever it is.
You could just write an actual fucking car in 6 months.
Yeah, they said that they're going to future-proof Gran Turismo Sport to scale as high as 8K. So maybe potential hardware could actually render it up, but that only tells us that the next PlayStation is not going to come out until 8K is a common thing in the consumer marketplace, and that's like 10 years of fucking way, right? Like that's crazy.
Or it could be longer.
Yeah,
you know, like it could be even longer away. Like who the hell knows? But as far as I can tell,
for that, unless you're a developer or designer. Honestly, for that high
that's why you get
resolution.
that comment. Oh, well, why get 4K, 8K's around the corner? 8K's only here because of people that use it professionally.
Yeah.
You know, it's not here for the consumer. No.
I know this sounds stupid, but to be honest with you, even when you see like movies and stuff in 4K, sometimes you're just like, you know what I mean? Like you see gross stuff and like I don't know.
Well, you're doing a bad job of explaining the crap. But what you mean, I know what you mean. Well, he's like 4K is yuck. Well, no, it's not.
No, I'm not saying 4K is yuck.
No,
I'm just
but they don't.
like,
the audience doesn't know what you mean. What he's saying is sometimes you can actually see the polyp and pimple on the actor's face these days because things are so clear.
Or you can see how sweaty they are on a set.
Yeah, or you can see their makeup. Their makeup, like that's
there was actually
really
an article that was in I think People magazine one time that said something along the lines. It was on Twitter. It was interesting. They were saying that a lot of actors and actresses are complaining because what they used to be able to cover up in makeup, and TV never showed it so clear. Now you can see every blemish on their face. So here's the other thing: 8K is farther than you all think. We're getting numbers that we're not even going to be at 50% saturation with 4K for another 2 or 3 years or something like that. Some ridiculous stat came out like 6 months ago. So the X is going to survive and actually be the leader and forefront media entertainment pusher for this 4K generation. And if 8K does end up somehow sneaking its ugly head in quickly in 3-4 years, Microsoft and Sony are both not stupid. They're going to know, especially Sony in the TV business, they'll know that 8K is down the road. But the problem is the components, and this is where dealer comes in. The components that would satisfy a box to get gamers from not complaining the price is too high for an 8K in 3 years is mind-blowing. That's never going to happen.
I don't even know why they care, though, because graphics don't matter anymore.
Right, graphics don't matter. That's right.
Graphics don't matter anymore. There's not even any PC hardware out right now that can really truly push 8K without spending at least $3,000.
A little bit more breaking news. PSN is currently down. I'm hearing PSN is down. So welcome all you guys.
PSN is down, folks.
PSN is down for the count. I figure like that. That could be why like there's so many ponies in the chat right now.
every time PSN goes down, I always hold my breath a little bit because you never know if it's down for the count, like did a few years ago.
Hey, people forgot all about that stuff. Yeah, like people forget all about that, right? Like who cares?
When they lost 170 million credit card numbers because they stored credit card information in plain text files.
Hey, you know what would have been epic if their response would have been that Microsoft emoji from a couple years ago when their E3 like what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like that would have been like an epic response in my opinion. Like I think that would have been absolutely fantastic. But I want to move on. So anyway, yesterday, right, I'm sitting there and I see people freaking out about this dude. He goes by the name Z Huge on Twitter. He blocked all the Xbox fans with the Scorpio emoji in their name for no reason. Like, literally, I never had any contact with the guy, and he blocked me. He blocks everybody.
Maybe he does
right?
a lot of cocaine. He's just really paranoid.
That could be it. I don't know. He always wants to act like he's not a fanboy, but then at the end of the day, he just does what he can to make Xbox look bad.
Right.
And so he tweets out this. He says, Microsoft has also cut funding to the Xbox division. They no longer have a blank check for new projects that could potentially help. It seems the future of Xbox has already been decided. Don't expect the status quo to change anytime soon.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so that's what he tweets out, right? And somebody took this and sent it to Phil Spencer and said, is this true? And Phil Spencer's like, nope. You know what I mean? Like, that is bad. When you get
so Z Hughes just lost his credibility is what
yeah, that's basically what happened. It's like, why take the chance with something like that when you know Phil gets on Twitter quite a bit, and he's quite vocal about stuff like this. Like, Microsoft, like, if it's something that's true or even close to being true, they'll not comment, right? He could have not commented, and it wouldn't have been a big deal because people would have been like, yeah, that, you know, whatever. Like, the Sony fans would have believed this guy, but the Xbox fans wouldn't have anyway. But now that Phil has 100%, like, bitch slapped this dude, you know, people realize that he's full of shit. Like, he gets NPD numbers or whatever, but that doesn't take an insider to get that. You can sign up and become part of the NPD group. That doesn't make you an insider.
Listen, the R&D team that was assembled when Phil took over for this X to become, you know, to come to fruition. How about the money? And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about like it's GTA money, okay, with Rockstar. But at the same time, there's a lot of money that went into extending the partnership, which is probably going to be a partnership. I know we'll get into it later. That's going to be a partnership indefinitely between Xbox and PUBG. What are they? Bluehole. They're going to do. That's going to be a long-lasting friendship and partnership. But nonetheless, that's a lot of money right there between just the R&D development. When you see Albert Pinello give his speeches on IGN after E3, or you listen to any of these guys talk about it, this wasn't something they just whipped up and grabbed stuff off the shelf. They actually named the power system after one of the engineers at Microsoft. This isn't something they got in aisle 9 at Radio Shack. Yeah. Okay, but the PS4 is, and you know that's the thing people don't realize. People don't really realize. A lot of people in the Xbox community use the words and the term Sony's broke. Sony's not broke, okay? We understand that. But Sony's broke in comparison to Microsoft. And Sony's had to sell off a lot of their assets, a lot of their divisions, just to get the money to be able to, you know, it's just like, I don't know if you've ever watched any of those Star Trek movies where they're like, I need to cut all power and get it to fucking warp drive. You know what I mean? Just so we can move the ship. And
Hellhammer knows that all too well, right, Hellhammer?
Yeah, well, listen,
over there.
We'll nerd out for a minute. But I mean, in all honesty, like that's the truth of the matter is that that's what they had to do. And yes, the PlayStation division is afloat. They're doing fine. But in all reality, they don't have the kind of money that Microsoft does to put the R&D team together.
If they got to sell another building, they're not going to have any place to make anything at.
The only reason they would have to reduce R&D budget anyway is because they've done the R&D for the X. They've ramped down costs because they have already got that work out of the way. So, I mean, once again, that's the only thing I can think of.
PlayStation also doesn't have the games. I know we're pissed off that we lost Scalebound and we don't have Crackdown 3 right now, but PlayStation doesn't have these games as services that Xbox does, and Xbox is set up to continue making a lot of money for the next few years. Like, we will get the games. I know I wish we had them now, but like for the people that are saying we have no games or whatever here, like it's not true.
Well, here's the thing. We used to joke around with Sony with that too, right? So your PS4 has no games, right? PS4 has no games. We would say that. But realistically, it had games, just they didn't really have anything first party wise, and they were really kind of misleading people into thinking these games were coming. And it took years to come, and now the same thing kind of happened to the Xbox One. The interesting thing is this is like the first what I'd consider bad year for exclusives for the Xbox One, but the PS4 continues to have bad years. I know, like, technically it can have a bunch of games, but and people count like the Gravity Rush 2s and the Yakuzas and these types of games, right?
Isn't that shit third party?
Yeah, it's third party, right? So again, I don't really consider that to be, and that's
Meaning
not my cup
Sony
of
didn't
tea.
make that shit, you know?
Yeah,
like-
so and you know what? That stuff, believe it or not, can come to Xbox. Hey, we got almost 1,000 watching. Hit the like button, please. I would appreciate that. I'm gonna e-bag a little bit. So yeah, so you know, Sony gets very lucky with these games, and there's nothing saying just how like PUBG, which we'll get into a little bit more, could come to PlayStation. Well, according to a lot of people, any of those Yakuzas and Personas and you know these games could come. Hellblades for sure can come to Xbox at any point. You know, just because it could. Now, Microsoft, Phil Spencer went to Japan. They actually, I guess it broke out today. This isn't a big deal for me, but PES Soccer, they sent people over to Japan to help with the development of this game on the X to get it over to 4K native. Right? Otherwise, I guess they weren't going to bother with it. So Microsoft went over there and showed them how to do it, which is very important going forward because Microsoft seems very willing to help out some of these developers, even in Japan, right? You know, and I think that that's incredibly smart. That's what you got to do. You have a easy to develop for console. In Japan, you don't really have much of a presence, so you're going to have to really kind of, you know, show them what's up, and you're going to have to prove yourself a lot. And I think that they are proving themselves. If you look at what developers.
Yeah.
They probably
saying,
sold out all two Xbox One X's that they had set aside for Japan. So
yeah, the military over there
So
probably
they had to
bought them
send
all.
people over there. They'd send the ninjas over to Japan to get a fucking soccer game up to native 4K. Like,
Yeah.
do the Japanese developers not look at the competition and be like, well, they're doing it, like we want to do that too? You know how the Western devs kind of compete a little more, like they try to one up each other. I don't understand why they would have to even need help with the X like that.
Yeah,
I don't think graphics are as big of a deal over there, so they don't.
Yeah, a lot of people
But they're
play.
selling the game to Western people, you know, like.
I don't think
about
that,
that, right?
I think
Like,
there's
as
a
a dev.
disconnect though between the, you know, between like the cultures or whatever with that, right? Like their games, they're just like, oh, well, let's make whatever game, but as long as the gameplay and storyline fits what you want, we don't really care. I mean, I'm not sure it's not as lackadaisical as that. But I mean, there's obviously like a disconnect between.
They get it up to 1200p and they go, fuck it. You know, they're just,
I mean, between like the Western audience who wants like all the graphical settings and everything turned on, and you know,
well,
the
because
Japanese
it's a
side.
fact that a good game with better graphics is a better game. That's a fact. And developers, if they don't see that in Japan, that's their problem.
Yeah, well, they're very loyal to brands. In Japan, and even to like franchises that have been around a long time. So like things like Dragon Quest and stuff that does moderately well over here does really well over there. And even the times that the Xbox division pumped a lot of money into securing like console exclusives back in the 360 days, a lot of those titles were like new IPs, and it was kind of hard to sell new IPs to just about anybody, let alone the Japanese audience. Like Blue Dragon had moderate success, Lost Odyssey, those two come to mind, but those were made by developers who and designers that had traditionally worked on Final Fantasy and other series, right? So they tried, but again, they didn't bring those tried and true franchises that the Japanese audience know and love. So therefore, you know, I think if the original, if the 360 had gone off to a better start, I think, and had more success, I think the Xbox One would be a product of that success. But because it didn't, nobody really cares.
Yeah, I mean, you could be right there, Noof. You know, but I do want to, you know, somebody in the chat was like PUBG, third-rate game. It's so funny how it's a third-rate game now, isn't it? Like that game was like, it was so, you know.
Now it doesn't matter.
Yeah, now it's like a third-rate game. But I'm gonna go ahead and transition to this topic. So it was announced at Gamescom, which I think everybody was hoping would happen. You know, PUBG published by Microsoft.
We got as good as we can get, right, Crap? I mean, that's...
they're publishing it right now. That's the only version they're working on is the Xbox One version and the PC version, obviously. And so Microsoft is actually helping this out and drop some cash on them. And I think that's good. If you look at what the developers are asking for, they really kind of want some crossplay going on between PC and console. So that could be something that would hold it off to PS4 as well. You know, this was originally just going to be a self-published ID at Xbox game, and then Microsoft decided to step up.
Well, hey, I mean, but it's a third-rate game, right? It has 215,000 players currently and peaked at 710,000 today. So, I mean,
Our new Xbox friend and comrade over at IGN, Destin Legary, he actually interviewed the PUBG developer and PR folks today. Chris Charla was there as well. I got a chance to watch a little bit of that today. It's actually a really good interview. Speaking of people that came around, Destin came around, folks. Okay?
He did, man. Destin has really come around. Like, that guy is... He's winning me back.
Exactly. I actually follow him now. If you want to follow one person at IGN, well, two people. You can follow Alana, and you can follow. That's right. Yes, and you can follow Destin.
I watched Alana actually. She played PUBG on Xbox.
Yes.
She said it looked good. It ran good, and it actually showed some Xbox footage, and it looked decent.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, there was an article saying that it's not. Well, they only played it on a regular Xbox One S, but that it's a slight downgrade from the PC version, but it was running extremely well.
I love how these PC guys too. They're like, well, there's no way they'll get this game running smoothly. It runs like trash on PC, and then they'll say, well, there is no optimization factor. You know, like
right.
Well, people don't understand, right? Like, I was arguing with somebody because I made a comment. I was reading this article, and they said that Forza Motorsport 7, to get it running at the 4K 60 at the fidelity that they have it on the X, would cost, and they broke it down, it was like $1,600 or something. So I was like, hey, that's pretty impressive. I think I'll just rather spend the $500 and get the X. You know what I mean?
It's a GTX 1080, basically.
So yeah, well then I had the PC dude like on my ass, like, oh well, how do they know what you're talking about? So I got another article where another Forza guy said the same damn thing. So it's like no matter what you do or no matter what you say, the PlayStation fanboys completely will try to spin it and make it fit their agenda. Look in the article that says how fast these things sold out. 25 minutes, that article, and you see the fanboys in the comments. They're all over. Well, if you only make 1,000, of course it's going to sell out fast. I mean, like, the reach on these days is unbelievable.
Nobody said that. Nobody said anything about the Switch with that. It was just like the Switch, the resurgence of Nintendo.
Nintendo is back, baby.
Yeah, Nintendo's back and better than ever. Go out there and get Zelda. Listen, so it was like, they did. This is the narrative. You can change anything in this business, right? The thing that's really important, and I'm gonna state this to everybody. Please pay attention to this. What's important for the success of the Xbox brand, and this is for Redmond, is Phil, Aaron, Mike, Larry, anyone in charge. When somebody comes out that's a IGN or a Polygon or a Z Huge or a Z Small or anybody else that comes out.
I remember when you were making the pie charts for days.
I did it yesterday. Mooch Huge did have to come out of retirement for a little while. But listen, when they come out and make these irate claims or attack somebody the attack was not necessary on the brand, Microsoft needs to come out and do what Phil did yesterday. No. Okay? Flat out, no. Like, you need to come out and do that, because what happens is, if these guys are able to chatter, like you said, people pick up a story and roll with it. So this is all going to be like a big evolutionary snowball. It just goes downhill and gets bigger and bigger. Once Phil says, no, that's not true, or that's not happening, or we're actually going in this direction, it stops the avalanche. So my whole point is this is really on Phil and the company. And they may go, I don't want to have to deal with that. Then hire somebody that can. Because the problem is unless Phil came out yesterday and did that, today's a totally different show right now, Crap. Today's a totally different show if Phil doesn't come out and stop that guy in his tracks. And this is what I'm saying. So when you see all these fanboy stuff and nonsense, we need some backup. You need to have some back. So when we say something and we know that we're actually true, or what's happened in the past has been just ridiculous amount of fanboyism on the other side, they're just attacking us. We've never had any defense from Redmond. So it'd be nice to get a little bit of defense, and Phil did that yesterday.
Yeah, well, you know what? That was very smart, just kind of backtracking to the Z Huge stuff, just because you're right. Imagine if he doesn't say no to that, the amount of articles and things like that, because we already see that guy is used for these different types of articles, right? People use him as a source, which is unfortunate. They used to do that with that Thuway guy as well, and that Mortimer kid, and now those guys are no more because they were both found out. So it's always difficult in this day and age of social media to go out and make those claims, because Phil's active on social media. So somebody's obviously going to go, hey, Phil, is this true? Which was interesting, because I remember I did a video about Scalebound possibly being canceled before it was canceled, right? And people were asking Phil about it, linking my video. Was it canceled, Phil? And he never responded to it. and then like a couple days later, we found out that it got canceled. So yeah,
It was like that crap gamer.
Well, no. Here's the thing. I didn't think it was canceled, but on IGN, somebody on IGN said they bet that game gets canceled, right? And then it did. And then it did get canceled. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. But hey, at the end of the day, that game probably wouldn't have been. Hey, I got a fan in the chat. Crap Gamers Gal.
Yeah, I was just gonna call that out.
My Gal is much better now.
That's great.
Thanks. Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. They say imitation is like the sincerest form of flattery. Yeah, shout out to Turk, the random hero.
Turk.
Yeah, he's the one that actually sent that to Phil, and yeah, just really kind of got that whole ball rolling. Got me a good video today, and now we get to talk about it. You know, a little bit more tonight. So I think that's absolutely fantastic. I also want to talk a little bit about. Let's see. We're going to talk about these. What the hell are we going to talk about here? Let's see.
By the way, 1,031 people watching the podcast right now. Thank you so much. That is awesome.
I just want to say, news alert, everyone. The Crap Gamer Crow edition of the Xbox One is selling out fast.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, that is thanks to J Dubs for printing that up, man. It's great, man.
Fanboys love it.
I love it. Hey, I want to do another topic. Aaron Greenberg is getting a lot of hate. People, I guess, on the know, like dedicated a whole thing to him. Greg Miller, and then we're talking about it and kind of goofing him because he said people buy Xbox One because they have the biggest exclusives, right? And that's obviously probably a bad time to really kind of announce that, right? Like,
no, I mean, here's the thing, though. He's technically right. Because
he is right.
They have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to be very specific when you're saying that. They do have the most billion-dollar franchises. They have Minecraft, Forza, Gears, and Halo, right? All billion-dollar franchises, correct?
Yeah, he said
Sony
biggest,
have
not
one.
the most.
Sony have one with Gran Turismo, $1 billion franchise, but you know, you can't tell people what their opinion should be. Basically, I get that all the time from Sony dude. You can't tell me what my opinion should be, right? So Greenberg, it was kind of cringeworthy when he said that. Yeah, I kind of see why people are drop kicking him right now. You know.
Yeah, but the thing is like, and I already kind of covered this a couple of days ago, which was, he's not wrong though. I mean, if you just look at it, like, and Sony, they don't have that really that game, or I mean, I guess you could say Uncharted, but that's not really been around for the test of time. At one time, maybe it was Crash, but they don't have that game that really people identify as that. Oh, that's PlayStation right there. You know what I mean? Where Microsoft has multiple games like that, and of course Nintendo has multiple games like that. Like everybody knows, you know, like Zelda and Metroid and Mario. So everybody knows Halo and Gears as far as I'm concerned. So I get what he was saying. He picked a bad time to say it. Simply because
we're an awful time to say it.
Yeah, simply because we are in a terrible drought as far as that. But I always tell people this, like the people that are really upset right now, right? And they're pissed off and they're like, "Yeah, games." And I'm like, "Okay, it sucks." But at the same time, you don't think Microsoft knows that we want exclusives? Like seriously, they know. But what do you want them to shit them out this year?
They just said that they put $1 billion into first party, right? So
yeah.
I mean, that's why I say it's going to take time. Aaron Greenberg's statement was a little cringy. The fact that they're not bringing other first-party games to Xbox is really stupid. I mean, whether or not, people try to damage control this, but Age of Empires should be on Xbox as well.
Yeah.
But it's not. I mean, you can play that game on a controller. I played Supreme Commander 2, worked flawlessly on a 360 controller. Much more complex game, if not just about the same. Upgrades, all kinds of stuff. The full 9 yards.
I think it would only take a little bit of time to optimize it for that, too, for controller play.
I mean, but like Halo Wars 2 is kind of like an RTS Lite, and people say, well, you need an RTS Lite for it to work on console, and you don't, because Supreme Commander 2 worked flawlessly on the 360 controller. And it's a pretty deep RTS. So I think if you don't put an ad for Age of Empires in the Xbox dashboard, and you can't even play it on Xbox, I'm just saying, as an RTS fan, as an Xbox fan, I want to see it on Xbox, and it's not coming.
Yeah, you know what? You know what's weird is how every single game that's on Xbox One is also on PC, right? It's kind of weird how that worked out, yeah, but then not vice versa. Yeah, exactly. Like that's a little bit like of a noodle scratcher. Hey, I actually like RTSs. Who knows if it's worth their time to actually get that one on the Xbox One? But
it's Age of Empires, so yes.
Yeah, I do see people asking for it. It might even be a bigger name in terms of RTSs than Halo. You know, like Halo Wars, like Halo
Wars. I mean, it's one of the most well-known franchises internationally, especially I would say when it comes to RTSs.
So here's the thing: like, I see a lot of people upset about this, and I can see it from this point. Like, maybe like they share everything on that's on Xbox with PC, but then not vice versa. And I can see where there's some uneasiness about that, right? But then again, it's like, you know, if people were really that interested in the RTSs on Xbox, they could have just bought Halo Wars 2. You know,
they want a real, like, the real deep RTS.
Well, listen, Microsoft's been preaching and promising that we're going to get keyboard and mouse support on the Xbox. Like, maybe that's a key novel idea right now with this game, right? I mean, it doesn't have to work for Gears, it doesn't have to work for Halo. They can make, you know, certain codes so that it works with certain games and other ones it doesn't. But this is a game that probably should. I think it's fair. Listen, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And in this case here, that's really important, is to stick to your motto. If you're going to start putting Gears on PC, then a game like this should be on Xbox One with keyboard and mouse support. Everybody can get a wireless Logitech, you know, keyboard and mouse.
Not that you even need it. Like I said, I played more complex RTSs on a controller. So, just once again, there's no excuse. It should be happening, and it's not. I agree.
Yeah, it should go both ways. You can't just take the Xbox stuff and throw it to PC, and not take some of the PC stuff and throw it back to the Xbox.
I think that kind of goes back. That's right, Noof. You're 100% right. I think that's what kind of goes back to what we were saying last week, where it all ties in and still does come to fruition, is that there's just a lot of people that are working in Microsoft right now and Xbox that are they're PC centric. And that's why I say, listen, there needs to be a bit of a shakeup in the fact that somebody's got to be able to. They keep saying we hear you, but I don't know if everybody in Redmond is actually hearing us, or if they're just hearing us while they're taking a couple of selfies. You know, I mean, there's just. By the way, the selfies are out of control at Gamescom. They're out of fucking control. Okay, and I'm even talking. I'm looking at you, Aaron Greenberg. I've seen more pictures of Aaron Greenberg's sneakers and feet than Rex Ryan when he was the head coach of the Jets.
Oh, okay, zing.
That's his way of marketing, man. He wears that Xbox shirt and all those selfies, right?
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. So he puts the stuff on the dashboard. That's how he markets.
But yeah, anyway. I do think that there should still be some sort of another hire or somebody that kind of puts the consoles first, a little bit more because like you said, Dealer, you made a good point, right? Why don't we have that game on console?
Well, Crap made a good point too. Like you know, Halo Wars 2 didn't do the greatest, but my kind of rebuttal would be Halo Wars 2 isn't like an in-depth RTS either. It's kind of like it's an RTS light. It's not a base building, army building, send your shit out type of Command & Conquer, Age of Empires, Rise of Nations, StarCraft type RTS. It's its own thing, and I don't know, man. I'm just saying, as an RTS fan, I want one of those hardcore base building, well, you know, those type of RTSs.
But if they could do it, if they could do it, I hope they would. I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, you know, just make, you know, add the mouse and keyboard support. And the only thing that I would say to that is you couldn't just do mouse and keyboard support. You'd have to make it so you could work it with a controller too.
Yeah, because if you release it like that, you put it out there, then you're gonna have the inevitable idiot who's gonna buy it and not read the back of it, or not. Even if you place it plastered across the front, requires keyboard and mouse.
I'm sure you played RTSs on PC, right? Hammer? You know that to play Rise of Nations or Age of Empires, all you have to do is use the mouse to click on every building you want to upgrade, click on the barracks if you want to build people, click on the command center and then build a building out of it, or a civilian. You only need one button press to really play RTSs. All the rest is kind of tactical hotkeys and stuff. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it can, like I said, it can very easily be set up, and probably like a couple with a decent dev, you know, a month or two of dev time, they get it set up to hotkey everything to a controller properly, right? Yeah. I mean, it's not that. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Well, this would have made sense as a Play Anywhere title, because if you bought the PC version, you could take it over and play it on the Xbox, right? And that sort of thing. But here's the thing, though. When it comes to RTS, it's a bit of more of a niche genre than most. Like, while PC players, I'd say the most PC players are very familiar with Age of Empires, and they know what it is. They've been weaned on it, and they've been playing it for years. How many Xbox fans who are console-centric really know what Age of Empires is all about? Like, you can sell Halo to just about anyone because it's Halo and people know what that is. Like, even somebody new to RTS may be willing to take a chance on Halo Wars because of that brand recognition. I mean, I would probably buy an RTS if it had Grand Theft Auto on the box, but I don't know if I'd take a chance on anything different. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't know. I would agree with that, but Age of Empires is pretty well known around anybody who's a gamer, right?
If you're just using like UWP to port it anyway, it's not going to cost you much more to bring it over to another 30 million people.
Look, it seems really odd that this game is coming to Xbox, especially when Phil Spencer was like ahead of the team that produced this game originally. Right?
Yeah,
like,
well, you know what's funny is they're all like, yeah, we've got 4 million views in 24 hours on this game, right? So you're sitting there just thinking, you know, okay, well, there's a lack of exclusive, so why not just announce it coming to Xbox as well? You know, appease some people that say that it's got nothing. You know, throw that into the list for, I don't know when it's coming out, but if it comes out next year, throw that in the list. It's going to help vary your
coming out.
next
I think September, October
of next year.
This year.
This year.
I'm talking about Age of Empires Definitive Edition.
Oh, okay. What about Age of Empires 4?
Oh, I don't know about that one.
yeah,
Okay, because they announced that Age of Empires 4 got like 4 million views on the trailer or whatever. Like, or maybe that's coming out. They're working with Sega on that once again.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
Hey, they've got the best RTSs because they've got the only RTSs, pretty much. So that's another category you could say you got the best kind of games of, I guess. Some people are like third-person action over there. Well, RTS over here, even though it's just like 1 or 2, you know.
Yeah,
more
exactly.
doesn't help. More doesn't hurt. Options are good always.
Yeah, exactly. See now, if Age of Empires 4 comes out next year, and that was also going to be ported on the Xbox One, then think about this lineup, how varied it sounds.
Day one for me.
Yeah, like I know people are like, yeah, it's dry right now, but think about next year, right? You got Crackdown 3, State of Decay 2, Sea of Thieves. You could have Age of Empires 4 if they were smart. Possibly Ori 2, a Halo 6, and a Forza Horizon game is due up. So I mean, and there could be something else in there too. That's just like some of the bigger titles, but that's a really fantastic lineup that nobody could complain about because it basically covers every single thing, you know. But people. So I understand that much. Like for me, at first, I'm like, it's not really a big deal. But then again, it's like you're thinking, well, if they could do it, why wouldn't they do it?
Well, Jamie Moran just said, remember XCOM 2 was on PC originally and then came over. But, you know, that is a turn-based strategy game, not a RTS. But, you know, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's always a possibility. I want to see it, and I'm sure others do.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what would it hurt? That would be my thing. Like, would it really hurt anything? I don't think that it would hurt anything. Not one bit. I think they would be welcomed as far as that's concerned. I want to move on to, have you guys seen the Rise of the Tomb Raider comparison videos? Like
that looks fantastic.
You know, Crap's been giving me a lot of shit over the past 6 months, and rightfully so. I only got about maybe a little over a third into that game. Boy, yep, absolutely. Listen, more than happy to be the fraud, because let me tell you something. I get to go back and enjoy that shit basically for the first time in native 4K, and it looks great.
I haven't played it at all, so I'm gonna wait for it.
I do got something to say about this graphics comparison, right? That's going around. It's a fucking screenshot for one. You're looking at it on a 750p iPhone screen for one. Right. Secondly, this is the in-game cutscenes, right? So if you remember, you can go watch Digital Foundry's video about this. Every cutscene in the game was captured in-engine, right? So they would ramp up all these graphic settings, but the resolution would drop to, I think, somewhere around 800p or some shit. Yeah. And they were able to ramp up the effects because they dropped the resolution, and it looked phenomenal, right? Well, now people have taken the beginning cutscene of Rise of the Tomb Raider on the X across all these platforms and putting it in there. When all these other platforms had their settings ramped up, because that's what happens. They ramp the setting up in the cutscene. They captured that and put it up against the same cutscene on the X where everything's ramped up too. And what they don't understand is that when the cutscene ends, the X is going to look much more like the cutscene than something like the base PS4 or the Xbox.
Well said, dealer. Well said.
Yeah. That when I saw that, right, and then I also watched Digital Foundry's breakdown, and they're just talking about it, and you just hear them talk about how it's like they're using the super high fidelity. That there's a 60 FPS option, and it seemed pretty much locked at 60 FPS. You know, that kind of blew my mind because I wasn't thinking that we'd get different options, like in terms of being able to choose this, but I actually like having at least a couple different options. You know,
like
people
it's from the same team that did the Pro version, right? So they just brought us all the same options, but increased fidelity. You know,
You're gonna see a lot of the options come up just because of there's still that. Even though there's a lot of 4K TVs out there, there's still a lot of folks out there that they need to sell to that don't have one.
And of course, even if you're in 4K mode, you're still going to get probably a better setting or two, even with that res bump. Plus, you're going to get. They did say it was the best version, the best looking version out there. Of course, at least on console.
The decreased load times alone will be worth it, right? Like, I mean, look, even the difference between with the Pro and the standard PlayStation 4, right? Like I know Crapgamer said this a couple times with Crash Bandicoot, right? Like I'm watching him play it, I'm like, damn, that thing's like loading fast. I'm like still sitting over here, you know, feeling like I'm about to go through like the whole entire day before I get to play a damn level.
Well, guys,
go ahead.
Raider fans probably on this panel. I love the old game. I love the new game. Rise of the Tomb Raider is still my favorite game this generation. Love that or hate it, I just think the world of that game. I love how it looks. I love how it plays. And this announcement for me, this was like butter yesterday, man. I mean, Lara Croft is now looking so great on the X. I'm telling you, I just want to be her womb raider when this is all done. Woo!
Whoa!
God! It also has Dolby Atmos. Dolby Atmos coming to the Xbox One X version, so that's great too, right?
Yeah, and HDR. HDR is only confirmed for the Xbox One X version. That's not on the Pro.
Right.
So, and here's what Digital Foundry says: the checkerboard 4K mode on the PS4 Pro is boosted to full native Ultra HD with a mostly consistent 30 frames per second. Here they go. We spotted some slowdown when the screen is filled with rushing water, but otherwise performance is solid. Not about showing for alpha code. This is backed by higher resolution art assets and improved texture filtering, all of which combination offers a distinct visual upgrade over the equivalent PS4 Pro mode. So you have them saying that as well. Let's see. But perhaps by this point, the game has more of a reputation as a technical benchmark, and in this respect, this first hands-on suggests that the Xbox One X will indeed deliver the best console version of a particularly challenging third-party title. So far, the HDR thing is only on Xbox One X. The Pro's Enriched mode also makes an appearance on the Xbox One X and seems to feature a very similar visual feature set, packing in more graphical upgrades ported over from the PC version. However, the big difference here is that it's presented at an alternative 4K mode as opposed to PS4's 1080p presentation. It's not immediately clear how Nixxes has pulled this off, but there's a slight shimmering effect around edges in motion and a curious vertical interlace type effect when the game is paused, suggesting some kind of temporal reconstruction or checkerboarding. So they've got two 4K modes. One is the native 4K, and one they're using like temporal projection or whatever the hell it is.
That's interesting. What I would have rather them do, though, is ramp up those settings, temporal reproduce the image, and give us 60 frames at 1080p or some shit.
Yeah.
So ultra settings 1080p would have been much better to me.
Yeah,
See,
I mean,
that's what I've been saying. That's this thing is like a 1080p fucking monster. This literally make or break the difference, right? Like with a decent upscaler.
Problem,
yeah. I mean, they can hit 1080p ultra on every game, 60 frames. No fucking problem with this.
But it's not out yet. We'll see what the deal is. I mean, there's still time for them to change stuff too. I'm interested to see what the settings are like at 4K. I know they said that it's at or higher than what the Pros was at fake 4K or whatever checkerboard. So, I mean, that's great. It is what it is. It's a great game. If you haven't played it, it's coming. Along with Mafia 3, that's getting a patch. I was very surprised
to hear that by that one too.
Yeah, well, I had mentioned that that Rise of the Tomb Raider was going to get the bump up like a while ago, and people were like, "Oh, well, you're kind of crazy," but yeah, it's definitely.
They act like this is a game.
Now, is Mafia more getting a performance upgrade? Do you think as well? Because I mean, there was a lot of technical issues with Mafia 3. I didn't play it. That may be something I would love to go and
it's
grab
been patched to death, bro. It's just getting the X patch, and it's going to run a lot smoother and look a lot better while doing it, no matter what. So look forward to that.
Even if it didn't get a patch, I would say it's still going to run better because the main issue that Mafia had was that they had those frame drops and stuff. There are a lot of the higher speed places and a lot more enemies on screen, right? Like, I mean, it was a great. I thought it was a really great game. But that was the main thing, was the frame drops that put me off on it. Even though
I started
beat
it and I stopped because I was like, man, I wish this thing, like, you know, I wanted what they're doing now with the X. So I'm
so I
looking
mean,
forward
even
to
if they didn't patch it, it would still consistently hit the solid frame rate now, at least. So.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that Quantum Break is getting the X treatment as well. That is fantastic news. And I don't know if you guys watched the Recore video, but the definitive edition definitely benefits from that extra 4K assets.
They will actually go beat that game now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I haven't played it, but I'm actually really looking forward to Recore.
Hey, you know what? I was looking at that Recore Definitive Edition stuff, which, by the way, that's going into the Xbox Games Pass.
Excellent.
So if you haven't played it, I mean, you just, you know, try that out you can get it free for 2 weeks if you haven't tried it yet, and just play it there. There's also like Dead Rising 3 and Halo 5, so there's a good amount of games in there if you want to just kind of try it out. But I agree. I saw that noof. I watched the comparison videos, and I'm the type of person that can't really tell a lot with some of these comparison stuff, right? Like, I'm like, okay, what's, you know, I can't really see the difference. But with a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing so far, and we knew we'd get some comparison videos, there is a night and day difference between the Rise of the Tomb Raider stuff, this stuff. I'm really interested to see the Quantum Break stuff. Maybe Hellhammer jumps back on that game because it'll be so nice looking.
I want a montage. You know, I want a big 5-minute video clearly showing Witcher 3 on Xbox One or PS4 and swiping across the screen, and then you see the X version. That's something that Phil hinted at, and he said it again when I talked to him. So I don't know why it hasn't happened yet. Maybe they're counting on the third parties to produce their own trailers, but I think Microsoft needs to throw something together.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how The Witcher 3 is going to run on this thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's probably going to have like a 4K game mode, right?
Oh, probably most likely.
Yeah, I think it is going to be.
I think that if anybody's gonna have options for settings, it's probably gonna be CD Projekt Red, because they realize that people like to tinker with that kind of stuff, and there's a big difference between a 30 frame per second Witcher and a 60. So I think you're gonna see a 1080p.
If 60 is possible, yeah, 60.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you'll see 1080p 60 all day on that on Ultra, no problem.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Well, you got to remember, it's not with the GPU. Of course, you could do 60 in any game in the world right now, but the CPU is still a factor too. So if the CPU is bottlenecked like it is in the cities with all the NPCs and stuff, then you're not going to see 60 unless it's variable. Maybe it ramps up out in the forest. But either way, on the PC with less power,
but the PC version lets you ramp up and down the NPCs to take up to that.
I don't know if it's enough. I mean, but either way, I mean, it's going to look phenomenal. You're going to see The Witcher as it was intended to be seen. The PC version, basically, whether or not it's at 30, whatever. They could do 4K. I do 4K with less power than Xbox One X on the PC, but I have to turn ambient occlusion down. So that's the worst case scenario. But every other setting's ramped up quite a bit. So, you know, maybe they have enough overhead to leave that ramped up, or maybe they could be a 1440 Ultra, you know. We'll see. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, like I'm looking forward to that. You know, 118 so far are enhanced on the X, which I think is a phenomenal number. Like Noof said, Quantum Break included. That is really, really cool.
There's certain games that are on that list, crap, that are so intriguing, and we won't rehash it too much, but like Witcher 3 definitely on there. Doom for me is definitely on there. Rise of the Tomb Raider, right behind Doom, is probably going to be the game that I play first.
Hey, by the way, before you get going too far, Doom I don't think was on there. Rise of the Tomb Raider I don't think was on there either. So that's a list in progress. Those two have been Rise of the Tomb Raider has been confirmed since that list was come out anyway. And I think there's tons of stuff coming that we've heard about, like Doom and Rise of the Tomb Raider, that I didn't see on there when I covered this yesterday on RDX.
Yeah, I remember. I heard when you had poor Fonz. You had Fonz read that off, and you were busting his balls.
This has been hooked.
You're like here, Fonz, read 118 names off and don't slip once.
Hey, Southbound was giving him more shit than anyone.
Yeah, it's true. It was, but no, it was a funny segment. But no, but you know what though? Crap, one of the first games we heard was Doom.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't see Doom not being on there, and I mean, if that's not on there, I gotta say I'm totally disappointed. I know they gave us like 160. By the time November 7th gets here, we're gonna be somewhere flirting around 160 games. And
it could be even more. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
perspective, back at E3, I think we had just over 40 games with X enhancement, and already we're at about 118 on average, with still almost just under 80 days to go, and we've already got more enhancements in that length of time than the PS4 Pro has had in its 10 months on the market.
Yeah, that's true, and I don't think that the Pro is anything to write home about either. So, I think that. I think that Microsoft went about there is a much easier way. So I've already kind of stated that multiple times. I hope that Doom is. Originally, I thought that was one that was supposed to be, because I know Fallout 4 is getting it, and so is Skyrim Definitive Edition.
I mean, it seems like Bethesda's doing it for the 4K patches. I hope that it's on there as well, because I haven't finished the campaign on that specifically for that reason.
Dishonored 2 is getting the treatment as well, so you'd think Doom would be on there.
Yeah, exactly. I would hope so anyway. What's up, everybody? Thanks for stopping by and watching us. I appreciate that. I want to give some Gamescom thoughts. I know that most people probably have already given some thoughts on various other places, but I wanted to get everybody's thoughts here. First, I'll give my thoughts a little bit. I thought that it was... I don't know what I expected. I expected, I guess, nothing super, and I didn't get anything super. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't great. It wasn't something
You got
amazing.
new controllers.
Yeah, we got new controllers. So, like, the highlight is the Microsoft publishing PUBG, I guess. Jurassic World Evolution. That was pretty cool because I was a real fan of Operation Genesis on the original Xbox. So I thought that was a cool little announcement. Recore owners get all the enhancements and content for free. So you don't even need... If you already own Recore, like we do, Hellhammer, you don't even need to buy the Definitive Edition.
Yeah.
You get all the stuff for free. They announced over the 100 1X enhanced games, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Witcher 3, Quantum Break, etc. They remastered some Kinect games and enhanced them for the 1X. And these games, they don't even require Kinect anymore. So, I mean, woo!
They might be good for some easy achievements.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the hope, and I hope that they're not $60. But when Shannon Loftus went out there and she's like, people want to know what they can play with their families, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching this live doing BGST, and I'm like, no, they don't. Nobody's sitting there wondering that. Nobody's sitting there wondering what they're going to play with their families while they're, you know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to play these games. They're not thinking, hey man, that's the hot ticket right there. Let's get a Xbox. It's contradictory first, right? And I just made that word up possibly. But basically what I mean is they're like, Xbox One X is for hardcore gamers. But then they make these 360 Kinect titles X enhanced. You know what I mean? That to me doesn't really make any sense.
The thing is that if they want family games, they need to stick with the stuff like Super Lucky's Tale, something that appeals to core gamers and casual gamers and families and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nintendo does that all day long with Mario.
Exactly. They announced the Shadow of War S bundle,
which makes no sense, because why the fuck wouldn't they make a bundle for that for the X? I have no idea.
Because that makes sense. And then they announced what I think is cool looking, that Minecraft Xbox One S looks amazing.
That's a super high price point.
$399.
Yeah, and it doesn't come with enough to justify that price, especially when the X comes out around the corner for only $100 more.
I've heard so many people say what you and Hellhammer just said. I don't think you guys understand the phenomenon that is Minecraft.
No,
that thing could be priced at $8.99. It's gone. It's fucking gone. It's already like, you guys have been saying that. And I've been seeing people on Twitter being like, "How dare you put that at that price tag?" Meanwhile, it's sold out. Listen, that they know what they're doing with these. You guys in those custom consoles are nuts.
I'm just more upset that it was that much and I couldn't afford to go pre-order that and the X, to be honest, because I actually really like that console.
Yeah.
That's my main thing. Is I thought I would just like to have that just for display.
Look, they should have. In hindsight, okay, they should have made that console a year ago. Personally, same price point, but a year ago. Because I mean, I ended up buying for my kids. I bought the Xbox One S Minecraft bundled box, but it's not a custom console.
Yeah, I always wondered that actually why those Minecraft boxes, right? Because they go all out for the boxing and everything for it, but they don't even put any kind of Minecraft anything on there. They couldn't put a brick logo on the front of it or anything.
And as cool as that Minecraft Xbox One S looks, and it does. You know, for the Minecraft lovers and all you guys out there and the fans, that's a great looking box. But my thing is this, like Hellhammer just said, why wouldn't you have done that a year ago? You put all that time and effort into the box art, and then you're not going to put any effort. It doesn't cost that much more. More money went into the Gears of War with the laser etching than it did for that.
You love that Gears of War console.
Oh, I can't wait to see what that's worth on the open market. I can't wait to get rid of that. No, listen, guys. You know, look, if this isn't about Mooch, doesn't like. You guys like custom consoles? Go for it. Go for it. Knock yourselves out. Personally, I just can't wrap my head around it. I'm going to come home. I'm putting the Project Scorpio edition in the entertainment center. It is going to be front and center, so you will see it. But it is a black box, so it still looks good. I don't, like I said, I don't want a funky like a multicolored box underneath. For some reason, for me, it doesn't matter. But if that's what you like, that's what you like. I mean, that Minecraft box has got like almost. What? It's got almost all of the Roy G. Biv colors included on that fucking thing, right? I mean,
it also lights up on the back part,
which is cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Is. Hey, and don't get me wrong. I think that this thing and then the X obviously could help the Xbox just in general because they're both Xbox Ones,
right? You
know what I mean? And I think that if they get a sale price on that Minecraft one, it could really, really, really do well.
Dude,
you know,
I don't care. The Minecraft one is cool. It's not as cool as the Gears one, in my opinion.
We know you love Minecraft
because of the target audience. I know I love the Minecraft, but I think it's going to sell. I think regardless of its price, and yes, I do agree it's a little bit overpriced, but I think that thing is going to light a fire under like people this Christmas season. Kids are going to walk into the store, and first thing you're going to notice is how different that Xbox looks compared to the white one or the black one, and it's also a great way for those dumb parents not to basically make a mistake and try to pick up the wrong version of the Xbox, because I can see a lot of parents this holiday season, they're going to walk in, they're going to look at the X, and they're going to go, oh, Johnny, that system's $500. I'm not buying that. We'll just get you the PlayStation. And of course, some of the people working the counter be too stupid or too ignorant to say, no, I'm sorry, ma'am, that's the X version. You should get the S for your kid. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's going to do funny though.
Noof, what's funny about Noof's analogy right there is, and we all have done it, so it's not just Noof, but I love how we make the casual like shopper an absolute moron. Like, I thought I was buying bananas, but I bought cucumbers instead. I don't know. But I mean, at the same time, I don't understand. Like, listen, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the American consumer that when their son asks for an S, that their parents know the alphabet. Listen, I don't think.
I've worked retail and did electronic sales directly with these people, so I've seen how dumb these people are.
There's some Hellhammer, but I mean, we say this like 10,000 people are gonna get confused like they're lemmings.
I just don't know.
Because I worked in retail too, and I can usually tell within the first 2 or 3 sentences and the look on their face if these people have a fucking clue what they're talking about. To be just like,
you guys make a good point.
You guys have this. What's it? It's a system. This one that has like the Kinect thing. It's the Xbox. Right off the bat, you're like, oh dear. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there are smart people. No, you got to give some people the benefit of the doubt. But I mean, when you have color-coded systems, it's kind of a hard thing to miss. And again, it is Minecraft. And while I think there are adults and kids alike who play it, it is going to be popular with that demographic because they are the ones who really are the bread and butter for the franchise itself. And I just want to say one thing that I think they should put in the Xbox One X Scorpio edition. It would be really cool if they could put in some dud chips. You know that little chip that the execs were showing off? They should put that in the box. Like,
that would be
kind of a cool thing.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
I think that would be cool. Like Mooch, what are your thoughts on Gamescom? Like,
well, I think Gamescom, I think one of the coaches in the NFL said it a long time ago when the losing team was playing the best team, and they're like, they are who we thought they were. Okay, yeah. This conference was what we thought it was. It's the little brother to E3. It's nothing more. It's nothing less. They throw in a little surprise, And I mean, the surprises are what you said, Crap. It's we got PUBG on a partnership, an extended partnership, which is more than we thought. I mean, we all were hoping they were going to come out and be like, drop a bomb and be like, we own PUBG. That's not going to happen. But this is the next best thing. The Age of Empires thing was great for certain folks. All in all, I mean, I knew what we were going to get because let's be honest, haven't we all seen Gamescom every year? And Gamescom is always just E3 with a little sprinkled crack on it. You know what I mean? It's just a little something extra. That's all it is. There's nothing really on there that's ever been a wow factor. I think the only Gamescom I've ever been floored was the one with Rise of the Tomb Raider being announced as exclusive, holiday exclusive, if you will.
They did an actual presentation there, though. So
yes, they did.
The only thing that made Gamescom this year potentially more exciting was the fact that they were saying that you're going to see Crackdown 3 Destruction multiplayer.
Yeah,
that's about it. But other than that, you're right. There's not really been anything massive revealed there, and if there has been, it's been the exception, not the rule.
Right.
So people blew this out of proportion. I asked several people, "What did you expect? Like, did you not look at last year's or the year before, the decade back? Like, it's never been anything to get disappointed about. Now, some of the stuff like the Age of Empires stuff and maybe one or two other things. I didn't get to eat those donuts that were on the table. Shit like that.
I'm angry. I didn't get to eat those donuts. They look so good.
Yeah.
Chris Charla is ugly. Yeah, these things piss me off.
Well, it's so funny. If you ever want to see Chris Charla, want to see Chris Charla completely tongue-tied and have no idea why he was called on stage, go watch the Destin Legary interview with him with the PUBG guys. At one time, Destin turns to him and he's like, "So, what do you think the how's this all going to come together with the controller coming from the keyboard?" And Chris Charles like, he didn't know what to say. He's like, ask the developer, and the developer doesn't speak English. So he had a translator. He's like, and I'm like, I swear to God, it was the most. I felt bad for him, And I'm like, make something up, Chris. Say something. Say anything, Chris.
You're live, Chris.
Chris, you're live. You're live. Pull the Walt Disney. But yeah, whatever it is what it is. But it was entertaining to say the least. Listen, Gamescom is E3 for Europe. We all know that a lot of Europeans and a lot of Asians love to play games, and that's cool. And so we're not going to slight them by not giving them their big stage. So we give them Gamescom.
Which you guys got to watch. It technically is the biggest event. It just doesn't get the media coverage that
E3
does.
You know what, though, Dealer? But it's interesting you say that because it's the biggest by ticket sales, but it's actually not the biggest because E3 gets way more press coverage.
Well, I mean, it's the biggest in terms of attendance and people there. That's what.
People.
That's why I say E3 is like the media event, and that's why you see the big.
Gamescom is kind of taking in like 2 continents. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta give them. They're gonna rope it in, like I said, in Asia and Europe, and we're just in Los Angeles, and people from Illinois don't even want to go over there.
Well, the fact that that it's doing so well in with the pre-orders in the other countries could be a testament that they were right and holding off a little bit. Like it's sold out fast here. Canada, it's the #1 bestseller. Germany, it sold out in 5 minutes.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that's
Canada with their fucking dial-up internet, and we still managed to order that.
Exactly. So, I mean, here's the thing: they get a lot of shit, right, for what they did in terms of, they had a lackluster thing. But when you look at the other 2 companies, they didn't do anything. So, I mean, how can you be really that mad?
Right.
Like, they're showing, basically, they could have repeated the same show they did at E3, and how could we have been mad? It's not even really an event for us here.
For the Europeans.
I wasn't really upset. I mean, for some reason, a part of it was expecting a little bit like a bigger announcement at some point. Figured because it is, basically Europe's E3 that they would maybe hold something back to announce just for that, kind of get that, like the crowd going or whatever over there.
We did though, Hellhammer. We got Jurassic Park.
Woo!
Well, hey, that looked fun. But the problem is though, that was more just my own disappointment.
Megaton.
Honestly.
Listen, I got news for you guys. Here's the thing. Did you just hear how somebody, I think it was Dealer goes, well, we got the Jurassic Park game, and Hellhammer goes, yeah, that looks fun. That's the same way when you're at a huge amusement park and somebody asks you to go on the fucking Ferris wheel. Yeah, it looks like fun. That's something you're not going to ride.
You know,
that
actually,
Jurassic,
if
I don't
that
think
game works day one and it's actually pretty cool, I'm going to pick it up because I like those types of games.
Listen, dealer,
it's
I
kind of
can't,
like a tycoon game. You know?
I can't sit here and tell you guys you're not going to pick it up. That's completely your prerogative. But I'll also tell you you'll put about 10 hours into it.
Hey, I got like 2 or 3 days of City Skylines already, so I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you grew up playing Sim City. I did too. That game has a lot of appeal, especially for that youth in you. But I don't know how I feel about making a huge fence for a Velociraptor. You know what I mean?
That's kind of badass, though. I mean, it could break through and fucking murder people. Like, you know.
Yeah, it could. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Mooch. Right? It's fun. Brought to you by fun.
Hashtag
but
fun.
I will say this, right? As much shit as Zoo Tycoon got, I put a shit ton of hours into that game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
when
go
it was
back
out,
in 4K crap?
Probably not. Some of those achievements. I probably will. I probably will. You know what? I'll probably try most things in 4K just to try them out. You know what I mean? Just I got a 4K TV. I want to fucking take advantage of it. So I think that's something that a lot of people are going to do.
Every patch. Speaking of patches, man, what was that thing Mike Ybarra was talking about where you can transfer things over your network or something? I had someone in the party and I couldn't hear anything he was saying.
You know what? Here's the funny part, right? I fucking did a video on this and people gave me shit for it, right? They were like, "Wow, this isn't big news." I'm like, "How the fuck is this not big news?" I get asked this question all the time, like how are the patches gonna work? Crap, how are they gonna work? So I fucking do a video on how they work and people get pissy. But here's the thing, right? You're gonna be able to pre-download the patches to your external hard drives.
Really?
So yeah, like I guess that's gonna happen pretty soon. So that'll be good.
Cool.
Yeah, that way.
Go in there, I guess, on games you own, push start on it, manage game, and see if there's any 4K updates.
Most likely.
Yeah.
That's really
gonna
cool.
be that. They're also having the over-the-network transfer, so that way if you don't have an external hard drive, or if you still store stuff on the internal drive, because it's a little bit faster, you don't have to sit there and copy shit over to an external drive, plug it into there, whatever.
What do you mean, like transfer over the network? Like, be more specific on that one.
Your games, anything installed on the internal hard drive. So basically, you'll be able to hook up both systems to the network. You'll be able to click on, kind of like on the PS4, right? You'll be able to click on.
So if you don't have an external hard drive, you can just transfer everything from one box to the other over the network.
Yep, including your settings and everything like that. Your gamer tag, all your settings. So it'll just work out of the box just like that. You just swap it over.
That's really cool. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't, the faster hard drive in the X is cool, but I've already got a 7200 RPM external. And what I tell them is the internal should be quite a bit faster because
you're not going over a USB bus.
Yeah, the internal in the X should be faster because you're not bottlenecked by USB 3. You're on SATA 2. And you should be noticing much faster load times in Witcher 3 and what the fuck were you guys playing earlier? I don't know. All the games should be quite a bit quicker than an external, so it's going to be cool.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
The over the network thing is cool because I'm hoping that they make that standard on Xbox and make it so that way because that would really help out for like me and Crapgamer, for instance, right? Because one of us downloads a game and the other one just grabs it over the local network.
So wait, let's talk about something that more people kind of want to hear. Like, I mean, that's a cool feature, but I think a lot of people have externals. So okay, now we're a week before the launch here. There's supposedly going to be, I believe we'll get the update a week before the launch so that we can do that new feature where we can grab everything we have on our internal and select everything and move it over to our external. At that point, right, we have nothing on we just have an empty shell of a box, basically. We're going to go bring this thing in. Probably, I think GameStop's offering it for like 2 weeks. You bring the thing in, you get the money off of your Xbox One X.
$200.
Right?
Yeah.
And then when you get home, you hook up your X, you plug in your external, and boom, you're playing, right? I mean, it's that simple.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. That's, I mean, but a lot of people want to
download all the patches. You literally don't have to do anything.
I like how I said all that, and you guys were like, yeah. Meanwhile, we just said a second ago, you guys were saying that people are confused with S and X in a store. But listen, my point being is this, okay? I read all these articles, and I'm like, well, I wonder if actually the common folk know how simple this is going to be on day one. The common folk, folks.
Yes.
That can actually get, when you get home, take this thing out of the box, start using this thing. And that's really what Mike Ybarra seems to be really proud about.
That's why you have that's why they're giving you the option to do the copy, or they have the transfer tool as well, basically.
And they're making a lot of it automatic, kind of like with the S. If it detected a 4K display, it'd say, hey, do you want to go 4K? And then you click the button that says, fuck yeah. All right? Anyone can do that.
Hey, no balls unless they have that option to click fuck
You
yeah.
want to go 4K? Fuck yeah!
Fuck yeah. Hey, you know what? Shout out to Predator. He tweeted this out. The Xbox One S Minecraft edition sold out at the Microsoft store. Like,
Yeah. I mean, no, it's gonna
Jesus.
I
sell.
told you, it's gone, man. It's gone.
Wow.
I was upset over the price because I wanted to buy one just to have it because I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
It
I
is
think
cool.
I
Hey,
think it's about $50 too expensive.
Yeah, if
myself,
it's
but it's
50?
not for the hardcore. I think anybody that likes Minecraft and you kind of got the money and you're hardcore, just get the X, play with the new update for $20 with Minecraft on top of the 100 you pay for the X. Yeah, it's a little more expensive, but you get everything in its best form, you know. So
yeah,
Right.
exactly. So, but I think I think a lot of people, maybe even collectors and stuff like that, will like it. But do you guys think that maybe that would have been a genius move to do last year?
That's what I said. It's a year old. Listen,
Said earlier.
yeah, it's
Oh,
a year.
okay,
The console's a year old. I mean, it would have been killer last year. Killer. Like I said, it would have been in my house. I ended up buying the Microsoft the Minecraft console that was just a game bundled in it.
Yeah,
Instead,
I would have that version instead of the Battlefield version.
You know, to be honest with you, I don't get that. Like right now, making a custom console like that with that kind of pedigree put into it, it makes no sense. It was like when the Xbox One came out in 2013, and they still had custom consoles coming out for the 360. I don't understand why they would do that. I know they want to get people to buy the S still, but we got to move on. I think Tim Dog said it best when we were on BGST after the show, after Gamescom. And that was like myself included. I'm going to have one X in the house come November 7th. But shortly after Christmas, I have two S's in the house. I'm going to have the other S. I'm going to wait because I have a feeling there's going to be, for my second one, there's going to be some great deals around Christmas time where you're probably going to get a game bundled in or something crazy or who knows what. And, you know, even if it's $50, $75 cheaper for a second one, that's worth it. So nonetheless, I mean, I don't see why Microsoft put so much energy and effort into making this Minecraft S. But
well,
listen,
I mean,
it's going to sell.
Sold out, right?
It's going to sell. It's already, listen, as somebody's complaining right now at the counter, they're buying two of them. So it is what it is. Minecraft is a phenom. And I don't think Microsoft even understands the potential because, like I said, what you do at Minecraft should be used as a real weapon for Microsoft on Xbox. Make the next version of it every new version of Minecraft will be on they'll be on all devices. However, exclusive to Xbox One for the first 6 months or the first year. And that's how you do it. And then after that, it goes to PlayStation and iOS and iPad and this and that. That way you don't hurt anybody that's out there. Everybody's going to get it. But if you want the latest and greatest, it's on Xbox. And that's money already spent.
I wouldn't get Minecraft 2 to PlayStation or Switch. No, I wouldn't. I mean, I understand why they left Minecraft 1 out there because Mojang have already done it, and they can't rip it away from people. But, you know, you bought the studio. You paid $1 billion-something for it. It's like
$2.5 billion.
It's like Gears, Forza, Halo. It's yours. And
there's not going to be any additional stuff. It's Minecraft is a game that gets continuously updated as it sits. I mean,
hey, what's up? Shout out to my Brazilian fans. I know you guys from Xbox Mil Gra. You guys are, man, I'm campaigning for you guys to get your Xbox One X pre-order soon. I know they're supposed to.
They didn't get theirs yet?
No. Brazil hasn't got theirs yet for some reason.
Weird,
so it is. Those guys are crazy huge Xbox supporters. So the fact that they haven't opened up pre-orders there yet is a little bit concerning. So hopefully, como estás, man? Love the Brazilian people, man.
Taking the Brazilian stock and sending it to Japan.
Exactly. Yeah,
isn't the number one language in Brazil like Portuguese?
Yes.
Portuguese.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think that's como estás.
Yeah, see, we got some Brazilians in there.
Perhaps talking Spanish.
Yeah.
Hey,
see, they're from Brazil. Hey, man, I don't really know Portuguese, but yeah, man, they're all my Brazilian friends, man. From
they
Xbox
understand the word Xbox, right? That's all.
Yes.
The Portuguese say for this. For this? Oh, I used to know a guy in college used to swear all the time. And
Viva Brazil, I can tell you that, man. I'm pulling for him. I definitely think that they should because we see those dudes. The one dude wears a Crapgamer piston on a PS4 shirt to an event in Brazil with PS4 people all around like that.
Nice.
huge.
And you never saw him again.
Yeah, no. Whatever happened to him? Well, no, he's still all right.
The only thing that happened was that the next day, mysteriously, a bloody shirt showed up on the doorstep here. They're like, "Fuck you, Crapgamer."
Well, yeah, I get that all the time. Anyway, Beaver, your time to shine, man. What'd you think of Gamescom?
Well, the Cuphead girl was awesome.
Cuphead girl, hashtag. I saw. Dude, here's the thing. Does that border on creepy? People are like, "What's her Twitter? What's her Twitter?" Like,
oh my god.
Yeah, I swear.
I don't think it
find
does,
some
man.
girlfriends, people.
It saved the show. Like for all us guys, like creepy or whatever, we're programmed a certain way. Okay. When that girl showed up on my television, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, Gamescom, yeah, we're live.
Was it her or the pants that were painted on her? Which one?
Okay, it was the pants at first, but she was an absolutely gorgeous woman. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Saved the show. But yeah, you know, I enjoyed it. Like, I like how they brought it down a little bit. They didn't do the huge showing. Like, they were just on a couch. Like, some people didn't like that, but I thought it was
I like the way
par.
Canadians say couch. Couch. Yeah.
I thought it was on par for what they actually showed. So I had no qualms with it.
Was there anything that stuck out to you that you really enjoyed, or something that you thought was lame?
No, honestly, no. It was like I didn't expect any huge announcements. It was on par. I thought it was great that we got the announcement that PUBG is extended. You know, the partnership, that's great, but it was just good.
That made a lot of people flip out. Everybody was like, they all went from it'll for sure come to the Xbox One to who cares? It's just a mediocre mid-tier game or whatever, right? I mean,
said that in the comments like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, like it's mid-tier. Who cares? It's nobody wants that. Nobody cares about
anymore.
That. Hold on, how are you in Portuguese? Como está? So that's how are you in Portuguese? Como está? Como está?
We are pretty fucking good.
Woo!
Pretty good.
Yeah, hopefully you guys are all doing good, man. Thanks for coming out and supporting. So, Beaver, we give you your spotlight, a time to shine, and you said it was on par. Brilliant.
Listen, I'll tell you this much. You know what? I will say this much. There was a couple of tweets that came out from Shannon after, and she goes, "Wow, really?" And I'm paraphrasing, but it was to this extent. It was something like, "Oh wow, here we are. I'm here at Gamescom, and she's like, I'm kind of floating. This is like surreal." And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, what? Like, that's what you do for a living. You report on games. Why is this so surreal?
It's surreal because she got to bring back Zoo Tycoon in a fucking big wing and act like it was some big announcement. Like, Shannon, what the fuck?
Yeah. Let me add on to what I said just real quick. If Crackdown 3 was still here and we had Scalebound, this would be a phenomenal year. So that's why I'm not really disappointed. Like, granted, like, I was, Scalebound looked like the spiritual successor to The Legend of Dragoon, the only RPG I ever, like, loved. So I was so floored when that fucking got dropped. But if they were still here, we would have the best lineup ever. So that's why, like, I was looking at that while watching Gamescom. I was like, yeah, you know what? It's not that bad. I don't see it as that bad. Maybe
and you know what? Here's the thing. Like, everybody wants to really hate on X. There's a lot of people hating on Xbox right now for whatever reason. And as far as I'm concerned, the way, like, bitching about it and complaining about it, like, they know that we want games. They know they have to deliver games, right? But at the same time, us bitching about it constantly isn't going to get us games this year.
Yeah.
They can't just magically shit them out. Here you go. You guys complain enough. Woo!
You got people that didn't even give a backflipping butt fuck about Crackdown until it got delayed, right? They weren't going to play it anyway.
Yeah.
And what they were going to play on either platform, that's PlayStation or Xbox, is Call of Duty, Destiny, Star Wars Battlefront 2. That's what you're going to play for the rest of the year, no matter what console you own.
Exactly.
So why are you complaining about games anyway? At least we do have Forza, Cuphead, and for the knack lovers, we got Super Lucky's Tale, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at least you got something, but you're getting a bunch in the early half of next year even. So that's a first for them releasing 3 of their exclusives in the first half, I think.
Yeah, I think that's going to be huge. And then, like I said, when you look at it, right, when you go into like the September, October, November, December, like over that November to the following year, like March or April, you're gonna have Crackdown 3, State of Decay 2, Sea of Thieves, Forza 7, Cuphead. You're gonna have Super Lucky Stale. Then when you go from that point, it's a little bit more impressive. Like, yeah, if we would have had Crackdown 3 this year and Scalebound, we would have had a much better year. But that didn't work out, folks. Sometimes shit happens.
Crap. Listen, here's the thing. Let me back up. Let me back up the beef for a second here, because I think he is onto something. Here's the thing. Back a year ago, okay, when Sony moved, 2 years ago, when Sony moved Uncharted up, and then they moved Horizon Zero Dawn up. Okay, hear me out.
It was brilliant.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. Okay, and there was actually an article which Jamie Moran always tweets out that somebody posted. I can't remember if it was GameStop or not. GameStop, GameSpot, or one. They said something like the movement and the lack of games this holiday season is brilliant for Sony. Now, hear me out, right? that was actually printed.
It was.
It was. So my point being here is, okay, so Microsoft does have a bit of an underwhelming fall. Lucky for them, okay. Lucky for them, Sony also has a very underwhelming fall lineup as far as exclusives. This happens all the time in sports, right? They're like, well, the Chicago Bulls showed up tonight, and Michael Jordan didn't really have his best game. But at the same time, the Utah Jazz really didn't show up either, and the Chicago Bulls ended up winning 98-94. So my point being is, I still think Microsoft has the edge to win here. And at the end of the day, we do have one disgustingly stacked up 2018. And now the only thing is, I will say this much. I'm not going to sit here and just pat them on the back and be like, everything's going to be okay. I don't have any idea. I know you guys are all throwing Halo 6 out there. I'm not on board with that. I don't think Halo 6 coming out next year at all. I think it's the year after. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't think you're getting it. Because I just think Halo is too big of a campaign to just wait till June to break it out in October. It's too big.
But they did it with Fallout, and Fallout's way bigger than Halo. So
I kind of agree with Mooch here.
That's a Bethesda thing. That's not a Microsoft thing.
But that's great, though. I think I'm more excited for Halo because they didn't show me something a year or 2 years out, right? If they show it off at E3, the buzz is going to be crazy for those 3 months. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
this is what they need to start doing.
Halo's the equivalent. If I told you, Dealer, how you feeling? Like before the show, you're like, dude, worked out today. Today was exhausting. I'm like, that's great. Pack your bags, bro. All expense paid. Your plane leaves in 2 hours. You'd be like, what?
I would see Halo 6 in all of its beauty.
Halo 6 is too big to push down in the kind of marketing campaign you have to have in 2.5 months. It's not. I just don't
disagree.
see it.
I think they can do it. I think that's the way they're going. I think Fallout 4 sold 12 million copies in 1 day doing that. I think it's a good strategy. I think it's a good way to build hype.
Hey, look at this.
You also heard Phil Spencer and all those people say that they're no longer interested in showing off games that are years in advance, right?
And if they don't show Halo next year, that means they're not doing Gears next year, surely. They're doing Halo. It's been 3 years. They're on a 3-year cycle from 4 to 5.
Listen,
if
we have
they
a Bonnie
don't show Halo next year, that means they got to do something like Gears. And
Bonnie Ross came out in February or March of this year when everyone was like, are we going to see anything from Halo? And she's like, we are working diligently, but we have nothing at all this year to report on Halo. My point being is they're working diligently. They want to make sure this thing is going to be the creme de la creme. You're telling me after a Halo 5 marketing campaign, okay, that had everything from fucking Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego involved in it on a PBS telethon, now you're telling me that in 2.5 months they're going to cram Halo 6 down our throat? No way.
Well,
no how.
Listen.
No way.
Listen, Mooch. You're not wrong, but let me tell you why you're wrong. Okay, listen. Okay, they're taking a page out of the Bethesda book, right? Like, what games did they announce? They announced The Evil Within 2 and Wolfenstein 2 at this year's E3, and they're going to come out this year. They start doing that. Microsoft has actually been doing that for a little bit now. Yep. They're like, everything we showed at this year's
last year. They did it with Forza Horizon 3 last year. Those games did
Forza
well.
Horizon 3 is going to come out, and Forza Horizon 4 is going to come out the same way you're getting up and going to work tomorrow. Listen,
I mean, I'm saying though that a lot of the people that bought it didn't know that. It has nothing to do with what they're doing with Halo. They're going to do the same thing.
Dead Rising 4 sold 8 copies.
Hey,
listen,
believe it or not, though, Mooch, Forza 7 was a surprise to people. Right? Like, I don't know.
Forza 7 was a surprise to people?
Yeah, Forza 7.
Well, let's welcome those people to gaming.
Hey, that was
welcome, folks. You're a little late. Yeah, all 8. Listen, I got news for you guys. You guys look at, first of all, you have to understand something. My argument is not to say that, sure, who the hell doesn't want Halo 6 next fall? I do. But It's not happening. I'm just telling you, it's not going to happen.
All right.
Hey,
So here's what you
Josh-
got to do, people in the chat. Bookmark this video, and when it happens, send it to Mooch because they did it with Recore. It's not that they did. That's not why
Recore
Recore.
told
No.
like 16
Don't even
copies.
start
Go
it.
ahead. It's
Don't
okay.
even
Go
do
ahead.
it. That's not why Recore flopped. They did it with fucking Forza Horizon 3. That game did phenomenally. They did it with Dead Rising 4. That game.
Crap was calling Forza Horizon 3 on his list wars a year and a half before it came out.
Matter though. Like I'm
Because
just
I
saying
knew it
they
was
are
coming.
unveiling.
Right, we all knew.
They are unveiling their games the same year based off current trends, and I like that. So I'm more excited for
Hold
Halo
on.
now. I hope it happens.
Let me back Mooch up here a little bit because Josh Holmes, he was the director on Halo 5. He's now gone, and I was
good thing.
yes, but I was thinking. In around the time that they got rid of him, they announced that they kind of slyly said that they're going back to their roots. So I was thinking maybe Josh Holmes had, Halo 6 planned, and Halo 5 dropped, and people were like, "What is this garbage? I didn't want to play as Locke.
They're just doing a more chief focused. If you're listening, K Mega,
They always
cover
do
your ears.
pre-production before the next. Like they said, they started on 5 before 4 came out. For instance, they always do pre-production before their last title's out. So turn 10, they probably are pre-production for Forza 8 already, right?
Right.
That's how it works.
Yeah. So look, we even though they're not talking about Forza Horizon 4 right now, but that's going to come out next year. They didn't talk about Forza 7
Guys, stop with the
this year.
Forza. That's like a clock. You don't have to keep saying Forza.
Hey, but listen.
That doesn't hold water.
Check this out, though. Like Call of Duty, those are 3-year cycles. Phil is a stickler for getting the games made and put out on time. I think it would be
so far. Phil is crap. The only thing Phil's got right now with that line is a bumper sticker. So far, he's got 3 games canceled and 4 delayed. Listen, this doesn't make any sense.
If they don't deliver, you get your ass fired or canceled. That's how it goes.
3-4-3. Listen, I got news for you. None of you guys are deluded.
That's Shannon too, though. You got to remember
that. Shannon.
Oh, she's such a lovely. She's a saint. I won't hear anything negative about her. Hashtag fire Shannon.
Let me say this. Listen, I got news for you guys. There's like I said, there's nothing more I want than you guys to actually prove me wrong. I'd love a Halo to come out next year, but all I'm saying is that with what Microsoft knew in their internal first-party studios and the shakeup that's really happening there, where they knew Crackdown even when they announced it at E3. They were kind of walking on eggshells. Okay, it's not like they didn't see this coming. This wasn't. I think it was much
worse. I think that they like. I don't know if you remember, but I was like Mooch. We were hearing from somebody that the multiplayer wasn't going to ship with the game.
Absolutely, we heard that a while ago.
Yeah, that game was already getting crapped on, so they had to delay it. Like I understand that.
I get it.
I mean,
yes.
like that makes sense. But at the same time, why would you push Halo to a 4-year cycle? Like that would not make any sense to me.
Well, there's other games that are in development that you also know about. Supposedly, there's this RPG game that Microsoft's been working on.
Yeah, but I mean, those might not be next year either. Those could be the following year because I think that
agreed.
It might be a silver lining thing that State of Decay 2, Crackdown, Sea of Thieves get pushed into next year because then we'll have some games. Otherwise, it would be a super dry year in and of itself. But I think that I can almost assuredly say they're going to close E3 next year with Halo 6, and it's going to release at the end of October.
Well, let me make a. Here's a rude and crude idea. Would you guys buy this one? What if it is shown at E3 next year, but it has a spring 2019 release date? And you might go, before you shake your heads, remember that Sony's flagship, Uncharted, released, I believe it was in May, and it kicked ass and took names in sales. Would you guys buy into that?
I would.
That makes a little bit of sense, right?
Yes.
Because look, you have a Halo game, a juggernaut game, basically coming out in a kind of a dead zone. Yep. It's not only a juggernaut game, just a name, but also a multiplayer.
And the name carries you through the winter. Grab the X. Halo's on the way. And that's
but here's the thing. I think that they're going to want to get a Halo out next year for that holiday rush so that they can probably bundle it, maybe do a custom console. Any later than that, if you do 2019, you risk possibly coming up against a PS5 announcement.
A PS5 announcement will come out in June at E3.
I mean, they were able to tool up and make an all-new engine and build Halo 5 for Xbox One in 3 years. There's no reason they can't get Halo 6 out. Already having all those tools available to them.
Yeah, they already have the engine.
Bonnie Ross's text messages that were going, not text, the tweets that she was putting out, they just were not reassuring that they were ready to go next year.
All right. I mean, she was just saying they didn't have nothing to show this year. You know, I mean,
yeah,
it's not a deal.
Because they don't want to show it like 2 years out. Like, look, they're giving Halo 5 time to breathe. They're still giving that content.
Right.
And I think that that's fine. I just think that 100% sure they're going to give Halo's going to be out next year. Like, you got to have that out to help back up your
and then
listen,
let me
put it this way, guys. If it's ready, my God, I'm ready. But my point is this: please, if anyone in Redmond's listening, do not, for the love of God, rush that game. That game needs to be. You don't understand. Halo 6 needs to be the equivalent of what Halo 2 was for the franchise. Because in all honesty, Halo 5 is resting on its multiplayer laurels. And that's a problem. Because you need to get that story back up to snuff. And if they need that extra time, I'm all about giving it to them.
If they take Lockout, that's like 25% better already.
Yeah, right there. Like, hashtag
mega earmuffs.
Kill off Locke. Yeah, I mean, you gotta. Hey, Locke. This is what you say. Locke died on his way back to his home planet.
Like he died on the car ride.
My home planet needs me. He died on his way to the home planet. Never to be in Halo again.
They need to hire some writers and get, you know, at the very, if Locke's still in the game, rewrite, give him some better writing, at the very least. But yeah, just get some better narrative, some better stories, like the hashtag Hunt the Truth stuff.
Right.
That stuff looked really cool, and I wanted to know what was going on there. And it wasn't even in the game, so hire that guy that made that commercial. I don't know, do something.
Agreed. Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. I think that they're going to do Halo 6. Imagine that 4K 60 Halo 6. And for those that are like, man, 343 ruined Halo. Look, Halo 4 had a great story in my opinion. And the multiplayer was a mistake. Halo 5 had a suspect story, but the multiplayer was the best ever in my opinion. So
I would say for me personally, people would be like, "Nah, you're crazy." Halo 4 had the best multiplayer I played on a Halo game.
Because it was very Call of Duty-ish, and I liked it too. I liked Halo 4's multiplayer.
Yeah,
the problem was
I'm not saying it wasn't a mistake, and the fact that that's not what people were expecting. But for me personally, that was the one that I really liked.
Yeah, like here's the thing. The only thing is that they messed it up though, right? Like because they made you buy the map packs, and then if you didn't, they split up the community so you couldn't play. So that sucked, and they rectified that in Halo 5. Yeah. So I think that if they combine to get a really good story and then like enrich the multiplayer even more, and because they already have the base there, right? So I think it's much easier for them to develop a Halo 6 and do a better job with the story. Just people want to play as Chief, you know, like
now some people say that Locke and Chief are kind of the same, and I'm like, well, you know, once again, Locke is introduced in the modern age where you need good character development and dialogue and stuff like that. Where Chief is the same reason, you know, we like Chief for the same reason we like Terminator 2. Arnold Schwarzenegger shows up and fucks shit up. He don't have no great dialogue. He's just a badass, and that's why we like Master Chief.
And you know what, Dealer? Thanks for making that point, because there's a lot of people on Twitter today, and they're all like, oh my God, Uncharted The Lost Legacy is the greatest thing I've ever played in my life. I'm throwing everything else out I've ever played. And listen, here's my thing. I'm playing it. I'm on Chapter 3. I'm going to play some more of it tonight if PSN's actually up. And, you know, here's the thing. As I'm playing through with this new protagonist, I'm like, where the fuck is Nathan Drake? Here's the thing. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. You know,
they got those crates in there. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, and they also gave her like the same voice as like Herman Munster. You know, listen, I don't know. For some reason, it just doesn't feel like Uncharted to me. You know, and I'm enjoying it because of the action sequences. I do love the parkour in it is fantastic. It's all very, very good and refreshing. But at the end of the day, the Sully/Nathan conversations are what gave you that like chuckle, and that's gone. That's gone. So same thing goes for Locke and Chief, right? Like for some reason when Chief doesn't have a lot of lines. He's kind of like what Dealer just said. He's Schwarzenegger, okay? In Terminator, Schwarzenegger is just like, I'll be back. That's not that big of a line, but yet at the same time when he said it, you're like, this son of a bitch is coming back. You know what I mean? Like, this is a serious.
Like, often happened when he was talking to Cortana. I don't know if it's because the dialogue was good or we didn't mind looking at her ass. But
well, exactly. You know, I mean, so when Chief would just be like this, yes, I understand. You know, and you'd be like, wow, This son of a bitch understands it. He's coming back with some furious anger. So I was like, this is where I want to get it. I gotta come. I gotta. All of a sudden, you sit on the edge of your seat when you're chief. And you're like, I gotta go down there and be a badass. So I mean, there is something to be in Nathan Drake. There's something to be in this. There's something to be in that. And you see it happening with the only movie that's ever been able to actually move on from that has been like Star Wars. And you don't really see that now. I'm wondering how Gears of War is going to handle it with, of course, Marcus, who's old man Marcus, and then James. So we've got James.
Hey, Marcus can still fight, although it was kind of the fact that he had to be rescued in that game was a little bit, I was like, eh. But
well,
still.
yeah, but they're trying to pass the torch. But I mean, at the same time, I think Gears is doing it decently. Let's also be honest. Except for the voiceover, James is basically Marcus. You know what I mean? He's just like this badass dude. They did a really good job there. I'm hoping Gears of 5 takes the story and progresses with it. I hope Gears 5 doesn't just become like the same Gears
and
over and over
don't
again.
have 2 chapters of just shooting robots.
Yes,
right?
Please.
I mean, gotta fight the DBs.
I talked to somebody and they pretended like that wasn't a problem, and it was a problem because it was the first 2 chapters, and people quit in the first 2 chapters. And I'm saying that Act 3 and after, that game really ramps up and the acting ramps up and the story just gets a lot better. So
true.
And fix the achievements so you don't get
BBs for fucking 2 chapters again.
So you don't get 50 achievements and 40 gamer score. Like
listen, I have I gotta even check it out right now. I've been playing. Like Gears is I'm and I don't like to offend because
Mooch is always on Gears, man.
Dude, I play Gears like crazy, dude. I gotta say I'm gonna say I'm a gearhead. I'm totally in on Gears, more than Halo, but I really hope they do switch it up a little bit and give all the Gear fans a little something to look forward to. Show an advancement in the series a little bit. That's all I'm asking.
Especially in animations, I don't want to. I've said this before, but it's. I feel like it's very true. I don't want to see the same guy jump over the same piece of cover 20 times without snagging his boot one fucking time on the cover, right? I want to see some more realistic animations. It needs to be a little more gritty, and you need to get out of that Gears box a little bit. Reimagine maybe the running. Change things up, improve the animations. That's what it needs.
Yeah, you know what the problem was, a dealer. Like I agree with you, but I think they had to nail a familiar gear, show that they could do Gears first, and then you could take a little bit more chances with it.
I think if they would have took the risk and maybe changed it up a little bit, it's a good game. I've beaten it 3 times now, and I'm going to do it again on the X. But at the same time, I want to see a little bit more realistic animations on these characters.
Not just for Gears too.
What you get, like 20 gamer score?
Yeah, I know, right? I only got like 250 gamer score, beating the game 3 times.
Yeah, I just checked. I got 146 hours logged in and 295 gamer score, and I've beaten it on the hardest level.
Coming to the rescue. He's going to give you some more points for playing it a lot.
Great.
Hey, Crap, you got a guest who wanted to weigh in on Gamescom.
Yeah, you can chime in there, Noof.
Let me talk about
I've been
shit.
waiting for Noof to. Chime in, Noof. What did you think, man?
Well, me personally, it was a bit of a letdown, but it is what it is. Gamescom is always the little brother to E3. You see a lot of the same stuff, repackaged, that sort of stuff. So, I don't know why. I guess it's just we expected something. I don't know. I wanted at least one surprise, something that kind of just blew me away a little bit. And I think because the pictures of the Project Scorpio console and the Minecraft one were leaked, that sort of surprise was gone as well, kind of similar to the Xbox One S a year before. So overall, I mean, it is what it is. And, when they started with Assassin's Creed, I was like, cool, but I was disappointed that they started with the CGI trailer. But so overall, I mean, it did what it needed to do, but at the same time, it was a little bit disappointing. But Cletus has his take on it, which you'll find a lot more interesting than mine.
Diddly, people, how's you doing? This is Cletus here, and I just wanted to come in and give my 2 cents worth on the Gamescom. And first of all, I was a bit disappointed, I gotta say. I mean, they didn't really show off a whole lot of new stuff, and then Aaron Greenberg's going around in that toga with, and I almost got excited because I thought, maybe he'd do some Rise Son of Rome shit, but nope. We got Age of Empires. We saw more colored vibrating controllers and we seen colors at the local sex shop. So my God, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was disappointing. I gotta say, I didn't really enjoy Gamescom too much, but It is what it is. Yep.
It is
what it is.
That sounds like something some old man on a porch would say. It is what it is. So your take, Noof's take, and Beaver's takes were just genius. I gotta say, like,
Thank you.
Absolutely, like, fantastic, phenomenal stuff. Dealer, what was your thoughts, just real quick, on Gamescom? Just like if people probably want to know.
I mean, I figured that maybe that we summed it up with the Age of Empires thing. Really cool. They're investing in RTSs. I think that's a franchise that needs to come back. But it's not coming on Xbox, which is a fail. Gamescom, I didn't expect too much. I don't know why people did. I like the fact that we got some new announcements for enhanced games. I hope we get more. I want that comparison, the graphics comparison video from Microsoft officially in 4K. That's what I want. And we haven't gotten that so far. So, I don't know. Not a lot of news, but more with X, the better. We got pre-orders. People forget that. So
yeah,
I don't know. I just didn't expect.
That's the main reason I watched.
I'm looking at history and I'm saying, hey, they don't ever give us anything here hardly. Why would they now?
Yeah.
And they didn't. So maybe I'm just a realist, but it is what it is. I mean, it wasn't the greatest, but I didn't expect it to be really anything.
Yeah. I think people were like, like I think Xbox fans sometimes can be swayed by the haters out there. When you see the PlayStation dudes go, that sucked. Then they start to go, oh man, maybe it did. Like,
and shout out to Z, right? Zaire had a stroke, and
Jesus Christ.
No, I get where Z's coming from, but at the same time, you at least got to mention they're putting $1 billion in the first party. They've actually talked about some of the problems, and Shannon Loft is coming out with those fucking piece of shit fucking games and acting like they're a big surprise, and she's smiling so big, and it's just like, get off the stage. We got to remember, it's not all Phil. There are other cogs in the machine, and it's hard to tell where the bottom, which cog has the broken piece, right? So
exactly.
Time.
And just so you guys know, man, we've been predicting this for months, saying that it's probably going to be a lull. We just got the lull this year. Next year it might not be, and then the year after that could be really good. So, like,
that's a really good point, Crap. I mean,
is.
why is everybody surprised when I think I was the first one to say it on this show?
Yeah,
there's going to be a lull for the next year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah. So, but the good news is, like I said, the silver lining is the games that were delayed this year could help next year to be a really good lineup, and then the following year, who the hell knows, but probably Gears and Forza 8. So, I mean, you at least have those two, and I heard Ori might be 2019. So, like, who the hell knows? Like, it's unknown at this particular point, but it's worth just noting that it's not as bad as everybody says. We get at least a fantastic plethora of games. You're talking
Once
Battlefront
again, you're playing
2.
all the same stuff on PlayStation and Xbox for this half of the year. Battlefront, Call of Duty, Destiny, and is there anything else?
There's hold on, Shadow of War.
War.
Yeah, that's going to be true 4K on Xbox as well. There's also going to be, let's see. What the
You're
hell
playing the
else we got?
same shit you were going to play anyway. So, that's on both platforms.
Yeah, so if you're a PlayStation dude, how can you make fun of Xbox when you're playing the same shit we are, but we get Forza, and you guys are stuck with fucking GT Sport, so fuck you. You know what I mean? I'd much rather have Forza 7 just to be 100% honest.
Oh, yeah, anybody that knows what actual physics and tire modeling would rather have Forza 7.
Yeah, so that's fucking, that's absolutely...
It could also be playing Project Cars too.
Oh, God,
Hey,
T-Pain's in here.
Bot Hammer. Bot Hammer. He's botting.
T-Pain back.
We almost got through a whole one without Hellhammer botting, but yeah, so that's pretty cool. Oh, Shenmue 3 teaser. That game looks like straight ass. Those people look like they took over for that Mass Effect crowd. Those people would fucking, I don't know, man. That looks horrible.
Well, how could he spend time developing it when everywhere he goes, people ask him about it?
Everywhere he goes, people ask him about it, so he shows it off. And I gotta say, if you put money into that, I feel sorry for you. This is why Kickstarters are like, wow. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit. Like, you gotta really watch out when you do those things.
That game looks great. Shenmue 3.
You know what's insane about that is I know Microsoft did that. The only reason I mention this is because if Microsoft did this, there would be some kind of crazy outrage. If Microsoft got their fans to fund one of their games on a Kickstarter, and then especially if it came out looking like this, it would be just outrage. Like, it'd be insane.
Yep. Exactly. It was.
Yeah, the other side of the coin is, you know what? Has anybody actually went back and played the old Shenmue 1 and 2 like in recent years? Because honestly,
I played recently Shenmue 2, and those weren't the sailors I was looking for. Now, when I say sailors, I don't mean any sailors, right? So yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Those games aren't exactly what we remember them being. It's kind of like going back to the 8-bit and 16-bit era when you know, again, nostalgia, like Mooch always says, hell of a drug.
A hell of a drug,
you get pretty worked up and excited for it, but then when you go back and play it, you're like, ugh.
Yeah, listen, that's why when I saw everybody doing cartwheels and backflips, somebody was lighting a match in the stands when they said Shenmue 3. I'm like, does anybody realize that nobody really wants to play this? They're all like fantasizing about 10 years ago when they were kids. Like, nobody cares. Like, I understand that some people will go get it, but it's not going to be like a sensation.
Yeah. It
It's not.
Probably comes with an anime body pillow too.
Oh, and with that, folks, I'm gonna start my outro so I don't get the DM of doom from Mooch. It's 10 o'clock, buddy.
Yeah,
we're gonna start.
At least I do it in the DM. Crap on
I
Crossfire last week does a verbal crash of the party.
Oh, yeah, I was like, yo, yeah, as we close in on 9 o'clock.
We close in on 2 hours.
We gotta get the hell.
You sound like Tom Brokaw in the 90s.
We've got to get the hell out of here. It's been 2 hours. So, Mooch, what do you got going on? You
Okay,
no Crossfire, so I know that.
Let me say officially there will be no Crossfire this week. We're taking a week off. We'll be back next Friday. That's 100%, guys. No surprise Crossfire this time.
Maybe we'll start streaming hopefully by then too. We'll be back streaming as well.
Yeah, that absolutely. Next week we should really get back into it. It's really going to start into the fall lineup. So we'll be doing that as well. And then we have MSC mornings, which we will. Crap, we still got to talk about it, but it'll probably be around noon on Sunday or something.
Noon o'clock.
Noon o'clock, everybody.
Noon o'clock.
Noon o'clock. Just coming up with that now. Yes.
Yeah.
So we got that. But MNC Mornings that show will go on regardless of Mooch's agenda this weekend.
Yes.
So thank you, everybody. Yes.
Yeah. So we got that stuff. Also, he's probably mooching some stuff. So if you want to give him something.
Oh, God. There's a huge mooching going on as we speak, but it will be reported next week.
Oh, okay.
Hey, now.
All right.
Hey, now.
Dealer, what do you got going on? I know you did a pretty good RDX podcast last night.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I appreciate it. We had Southbound on. And, yeah, if you guys haven't checked out Real Deal Xbox Podcast, it's over on my channel. We did actually cover all 118 confirmed Xbox One X. It didn't take that long. You got to give us that. It didn't take that long. We ran through that list pretty quick. It was 118 Xbox One X enhanced titles we covered on that channel. So if you don't want to look it up, go ahead and check that out. All that information is over there. Also, I'm giving away a copy of Sonic Mania thanks to Lethal Papa on Twitter.
What?
So follow me on Twitter at dealer_gaming.
Mooching.
Yeah. Follow me on Twitter at dealer_gaming to get in and for a chance to win Sonic Mania on Xbox One.
Great game, by the way. I've been playing through it. That is a fantastic game. Yeah. We also Hellhammer. What do you got going on, man?
Not too much. I'll be back on here next week at the same time. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at XXHellhammer or Xbox Live XX_Hellhammer or on PSN if you don't want to ever see me on because I never get on the damn thing.
I haven't been on it in months.
Yeah, since I beat Crash, I haven't been on it.
Yeah. Nukem, what do you got going on?
What's that, Cletus?
Well, guys, I just wanted to say one thing before Noof takes it and throws it out the window, and that is the Gamescom again, because I totally forgot, but my God, how could I forget? And that is that Cuphead girl. My God, she came out and saved the show. When she sat down, I was in some kind of tizzy. Let me tell you, I want to play some couch co-op Cuphead with that chick. That's right. My God. But anyway,
Hashtag creepy.
Anyway, guys, you know me, silly old Noof, always bringing out some stuff. Hopefully get another video out soon by the end of the week. I'm going to be busy tomorrow, so it might not be possible, but hopefully I'll try to get some videos out here real soon up on my YouTube channel. Again, it's always a pleasure to be a part of this panel with this great crew, and always good to have a Canadian brother, the Boldly Beaver, over with us as well. So I'm sure he'll tell you in a second where he's holding up his dam, but that's about it for me, guys. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Thanks.
Rock out.
Thanks.
Hope you enjoyed the show.
Hell yeah. Beav, what do you got going on, bro?
What's up? Not too much. I'm gonna have some stuff coming out around Christmas time. But I know you and me are working on a double day with Naomi Kyle and Lana Pierce, so we got that to look forward to. But yeah, for now, you can find me on Twitter at the Boldly Beaver. And yeah, thanks for having me on again. You know, I love talking with you guys. Love bouncing opinions. We're gonna do it, man. We're gonna do it.
Hey, man. Yeah. I mean, like your hot take on Gamescom will always go down as one of the most epic takes in the history of Xbox Nation.
Thank you.
It's greatly appreciated. And thanks to everyone for joining us. Hit that like button. Get us up over 600 likes. We appreciate that. You guys are great, man. Thank you guys for all the support. We'll continue doing a kick-ass show for you guys. Rag them up, and we'll catch you guys next time. Have a great night.